for which he was recently pardoned by President Donald Trump. I think it's fair to assume that a person who commits crimes in the past might commit crimes in the future.
Lowercase IQ creep. Oh, man.
Perfectly logical assumption that
I need to go get my microphone. He means well and wants to look out.
Might keep it up. A person that seems motivated by money, a person who factually was in debt and was having his payments garnished at Turning Point USA. And then
just because somebody cares about children and wants to look out for the children doesn't mean that that's what they're actually doing, though. You know, like. Anyway, you have to believe them by their actions, not just their words. And actions are huge.
How she met Tyler. It was actually, I had 3 questions when I went in there that I wanted to get the answer to. That was actually my number 1 question. Because I don't know much.
Oh, man. All right. I just want to look at some shit here.
I could remember what Charlie told me about that. How did they get linked up? And I felt that me asking Erica that question, she might be able to provide a lot of insight to who Tyler Boyer was. During the time he was with Charlie Kirk, why, maybe even before he was with Charlie Kirk, and why he got involved with Charlie Kirk. And of course, as we know, Erica knew right? Both she and Tyler have been honest about that fact, particularly citing Trump's 2015 presidential rally as an event where the 2 of them attended together, right?
So she gives some dates, and along with talking about Tyler Boyer, right? So some people were saying the investigation started in 2018. Does that give you any more understanding of what's going on? Or
no, my goodness. All right, I got to get this off my screen in the background, and then we're going to talk about some of this shit that came out yesterday. I'm really wondering what a lot of these like MAGA forever, I'll never turn on Trump, no matter what's said about him. I'm really wondering what they are saying right now about, you know, what has come out the last few days about Mr. T. It's so crazy. Like, I'm scared to even say certain things on here because I have no clue. Like, everything's so like fucking, we're all so, everything we do and say is so, hey, everything we do and say is so supervised. We're so like, no, boys, it's okay. It's okay, babies. Everything we do and say is so suppressed. I don't even know how to talk on here. I don't even know how to talk on here without people suppressing. I don't know what to say, how to say it. But honestly, what came out, I can't, like, Mr. Lecco, man, he drives me crazy sometimes. Him and his freaking card games and shit. And, like, always just push in and asking people to send him money. I can't. It's whatever, but, you know, like, he claims he's there for the children. He's there to help the children. And I don't get that vibe from him. I don't know. That might just be me, but all right. Stop it. I need to go get my microphone. And then I want to go over a couple of these things I saw yesterday because it was shocking. Truly was shocking. I don't know how many other people have heard the stuff in the files. If you watch Dee Dee's got a podcast, then you know. You saw a lot of the shit, but 3 million files, man. 3 fucking million files released. So there's a lot. There's a lot there. I was watching Tim Dillon yesterday. He was so funny. At the end of his show, he's like, the only person that I trust is Erica Kirk. And then he ended his show. It was just so funny. I was like, dude, you know what? That's fucking funny. She's the only person I trust too. Erica Kirk. I gotta go let my dogs out. Hold on. Come on, can we go out? Come on, baby. Go outside. Go outside, Jay. It's so fucking cold. Come on, biscuit. Come on, baby. All right. Let me plug this mic in. I'm so new to this. I don't fucking have a clue really what I'm doing, but I'm because I have so much I want to say. I have so much I want to say, man. I would do a live stream if just one fucking person was watching. I love having fucking the community. I don't know how to use Twitch. Twitch is different for me. I don't know, man. I don't know how to use it. It's confusing as fuck. I haven't used a computer since like the year 2000, okay? Remember the old compacts that had the big fat backs and the big monitor, the big modem and that sat on the floor? Like that's the last time I had a computer. So I don't know. Like I just got this laptop a month ago. I'm barely learning. I don't even know how to live stream that well. I don't really know. Trying my best. I want to see. I need to go and see if you can see my screen properly the way I want it to be. Okay, hold on a minute. I just want the community, honestly, just want the community of people. I want to know other people's perspectives. I want to know how they see things. I feel so alone in the world sometimes. Like I feel like an alien, like I'm just so alone. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks this way and feels this way. And I love Ian. I love watching Baron. I love watching Candace. I don't like envy or idolize. I don't idolize anybody because honestly, they're all, I don't know. I don't trust anybody. And I'd rather follow smaller channels that have like 500 or less subscribers. I just don't trust anybody. Hey, Anne Marie Tipton. Hello, Anne Marie Tipton and Pitsy. We got two people in my chat. Oh, so I really want to go over some shit that I saw yesterday that was extremely disturbing. Can you guys see my screen? I'm just wondering. Let me see here. I'm sorry, guys. Please bear with me. I want to know what you guys think. Did you guys vote for Donald Trump? Ann, Pitsy, did you guys vote for Donald Trump? Okay, you can see me, but not my screen. Okay. Okay. Trying to learn how to do this. Okay. Yes. So you did vote for him. Okay, I did too. And I regret it, honestly, but I wouldn't have voted for the other party because I just didn't believe that she was educated enough. I didn't believe that she... Yes, I was very hopeful too. But you know what? Charlie Kirk red-pilled me. I got to say, I wasn't into politics until I started watching Charlie. And he honestly was the one that red-pilled me. And I didn't like Donald Trump at all when he was president the first time. I didn't like him at all. I had a counselor that liked him. She voted for him. And she didn't convince me that he was, the better of the two evils. But she, told me like, oh, my property taxes have gone down with him being president. This has gone cheaper, this, and that. And then I kind of started doing my own research and was like, well, I mean, yes, he's been charged with 26 sexual assault allegations, but no convictions. Okay. And I know how some people can be when they just go after people that have money and they want to sue, they want to try to get a chunk of the money. But at this point, hold on, I'll be right there. At this point, it's just too much. It's too much to even say like, oh yeah, all these people are making it up. They're making it up just to attack Donald Trump. And I see a lot of people on here that are covering the files that came out. They're covering everybody else but Donald Trump, like Benny Johnson, or Professor Nez. I can't stand watching him anymore because he's a shill for Trump. He just shills for Trump constantly. Like it's fucking disgusting. Okay, so let me see. I don't know. I'm sharing my screen, but I'm not doing it right. Okay, hold on a minute. Entire screen. We're going to share the entire screen. Okay, that's what I think I wanted to do. But I regret it. I wish I didn't vote at all, but I was so, yep, same here. Ian will eventually get there with his program. I haven't watched anything on Ian. If he has posted on YouTube, I haven't seen anything, but yes, Trump is a puppet. Yes, he hasn't done anything for the American people since he's gotten into office. And just the way that everything always has to, he always has to retort back to, well, when, Biden did this, Biden's the one that did this, Biden's the one that did this. But you know what, motherfucker, you are not doing anything to change it. It's just like the prices on food. I don't think when people say like, oh, the economy is going so well, like I want to hit ahead and be like, do you grocery shop for yourself? Do you grocery shop for yourself? Yes, Ian created Web, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I haven't used it, but just I watch him use it. It's pretty amazing. He made it through vibe coding, which is really cool. Yes, becoming the United States of Israel. Exactly. Even say the word Israel without getting censored or banned. Or, I mean, if I make a video talking about PDF files or anything like that, it gets 2 views. 2 views. I make a video about my dog. Some of them, I mean, I have some shorts on here that have almost 2,000 views. So, like, people definitely are more curious to know like what the people in our country are doing to children rather than watching cute dog videos, but yet nobody sees them because they're completely censored. Okay, I'm gonna try to figure this out. I've never really been one to like, I don't want to make content of other people's content, but there's so much good content out there that I want to react to because it's unbelievable. Like, yeah, Philadelphia. Yeah. Philadelphia or IHOP is IHOP. But he's definitely a puppet. And I don't know. I have a hard time even watching him speak anymore. I watch him talk. It infuriates me because he just talks with like such a don't attitude. He does not give a shit who he hurts. And then have you gotten to the Sasha Riley tapes? Have you guys heard this? Like all, I listened to all of it. And, but I believe him 100%, wholeheartedly believe him. I believe, just there's no way and I understand when abused like that, you can have lapses in your judgment when you're being drugged and abused. And I mean, absolutely, you can have lapses in memory. And so I believe that like there's a few statements he makes where he's like, to the best of my memory. And I had an argument with somebody saying like, if that kind of shit happens to you, you remember it. It's like, actually, you know what? A lot of people that have trauma like that, sometimes they completely block certain things out, or you were under the influence when it happened. You block shit out because you don't want to remember it. At this point, hold on. At this point, I honestly feel like these are not even like Epstein files. These are like I seriously think that Epstein is in the Trump files. It's not like the other way around. And this whole time they should have been, but anyway, okay. I want to, I love Dankster, but like the way Aaron's like the way that he, what's the word? His analogies for certain things, it reminds me of George Webb. When George Webb talks about Candace having when I can't stand George Webb, something's up with him. He's fucking. When Candace was talking about certain things about Fort Huckle or whatever, and George Webb was like, Candace is gonna have a saying. Oh my god, basically saying like tonight. Something lynching. Tonight is going to be the something lynching of Candace Owens. I couldn't even believe he was saying that. It was fucking crazy. Yeah. Well, and then he always has to stop the program and ask people to send him money or like exposing this kind of stuff is so deep. And, like supporting me for doing it is muchly appreciated. If you want to, my Cash App, Aaron 1000, it's scrolling across the bottom of your screen the whole time, dude. We see it. And I mean, if you want to give Aaron money, that's great. Go ahead, do it. But like, he's not doing any investigating. He's just covering other people's stuff. And I mean, that's fine. That's what a lot of us are doing. That's what I'm going to do right now. But I would never stop it to just say, hey, by the way, you want to give me some money, support me. Cause you know, the deeper I go, the scarier it gets. And it's annoying. Right. Yeah. I stopped watching a lot of people a while ago, including, you guys might like him, but Valhalla VFT. Like I can no longer listen to that guy talk. I cannot stand his voice anymore. I don't know what it is. But it's annoying as fuck. I want to see if Benny Johnson I can't stand Benny Johnson, but I want to see if I see a lot of people covering the Epstein files, but they're not talking about Trump at all. Trump found the smoking gun in the Epstein files. Now he's suing for billions. What is this shit?
Out of here. Throw him out.
Just hanging around.
Get him the hell out of here. Get him out of here. Get out. Get him out of here. And you'll read about him tomorrow.
Yep. Valhalla. I mean, I think anytime anyone says anything about,
you have one guy over there
about the military, he's, absolutely got to have their back completely. And no, the military's not involved. I'm sorry, but if people can't see right now how deep our military is involved with trafficking tadpoles and the cover up of it, they're fucking blind. They're blind and stupid. I gotta get my dogs. I'll be right back. It's cold out. Come on, babies. It's so cold. It's so cold out, huh? Sure. Yeah. She's a baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. You good babies. Come on. Come on. You guys want to see my dogs? Yeah, and Valhalla has some good input because he is a military man. He's a former Green Beret. But I just think that once you're in the military, you're always a part of the military. You're always a part of the cover-up. And you have to be on one side of the road. And if you try to steer into the other lane, then it just ain't happening. And for him to boot you just because you said you want to see his bank account, the amount, he must make good money. Just the thing he posted yesterday about Epstein, he's almost at 300,000. I think he gets, See on Fire is cool shit. And he'll literally go over his YouTube studio and like how much he makes per video. Transparency, which is cool. Transparency is the best. But I want to go. I watched some stuff yesterday. I wanted to watch. Where do I find? Let me see. Babies. My watch history. Where do I see my history? Right here. Okay. History right here. Speaking of dogs, mine are dancing around the kitchen. They're ready for walkies. Where do you live? In a nice, beautiful, sunny state? I'm in Maine, and it's brutal out right now. Brutal. So cold. It sucks. So cold. There's my babies. I'll show you guys, though. Hold on. There's Oscar. He wants to say hi. Say hi, baby beast. Oscar's a beast. He's a baby beast. Oh, he's a baby. Oh, he's a baby. You a baby. You are a baby beast, Oscar. We need to clip them fingernails. Ow. We need to clip them fingernails, you crazy beast. That's Oscar. Oh, he's so cute. We got Oscar. And then I'll have to turn this around. Oh my goodness. Hey, oh, easy. Hey. No. Easy. Easy. Oh, the babies. We got Biscuit. That's Biscuit. He's the scariest one. We got Oscar, Beast. Then the black one is Cooper. Cooper. Oh my God, Oscar. You're a job. You're a little nut job, Oscar. And this is Akasha. She is. Sit down for a minute. Over here, boy. Over here, okay? Sit. I want to see Akasha. Hi, Angel. She's an angel. Baby Beast, move. Angel. You guys. Aw, you Angel. Say hi. Say hi, YouTube. I'm an angel in real life. And then my cat, that's Bartholomew. Bartholomew. And I got another cat around here somewhere. She's probably hiding under the kitchen sink because it's really warm under there. Let me get them a treat and then you want treats? Here, babies. Here, babies. One for you. One for you. Oh, get it. Get it. Get it, Oscar. Right there, one. One for you. One for you. Oscar, happy hippo. Oscar's a happy hippo today. Okay. So I wanted to see that, though. What the hell is this shit? Trump found the smoking gun in the Epstein files. Now he's suing for billions. The amount of money that Trump has sued.
Get out of here, will you, please?
Me?
Get him out of here.
No.
Get him the hell out of here. Get out. Get him out tomorrow.
Okay.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Libs got played again as President Trump is now going scorched earth.
My ideas on the kitchen. I'm in South Carolina. Ooh, I bet it's a lot nicer in South Carolina. We just had a small snowstorm, but it's nearly all gone now. Lucky. Oh my God, I have so much snow outside on the ground. It sucks. 2 pugs in Kansas. Lucky. I wish I was south of where I am right now. That's for sure. I got to see what Benny Johnson says because he's such a shill, and he's in the Great Pyrenees mix and a Collie mix. Aww. And another Heinz 57 mix. What is that? Heinz 57 mix. Isn't that ketchup? Isn't Heinz 57 a special ketchup that they have? Never heard of that. It's funny. But no, so Benny Johnson is in like the Turning Point Action paperwork. He gets paid through Turning Point. So it's weird how they're all you're not sure what he is, but we love him. Aw, that's awesome. So amazing. They're the most like genuine, organic form of innocence next to a human child, of course. Aw, they are so precious. I really hope to have like a safe house. I would love to open up a safe house for dogs very soon. Very soon. I'm looking into it because my neighbor right now has disgusts me to even talk about it. The chill is just talking about it. He had 15 dogs and then had another litter recently of 11 puppies. So now he's got 26 dogs, 27 dogs over there. And like literally every day, a couple of them get loose every day and come over here to my house. And talked to him yesterday, and all 11 puppies, like their bellies are all swollen. So that probably means they have worms and they're not being treated. And it's just crazy. They have 30 something cats that are wandering around the neighborhood and they don't take care. Like I'm sick of it. I don't want to have any issues with my neighbors, like, cause we've had issues in the past, but I'm fed the fuck up and he needs to start taking better care of his animals. And so I'm trying to help them rehome the dogs. They have 11 puppies that need to find homes right now. And they're 10 weeks old. They're ready to go. So I'm trying to help him. And I'm also trying to help him get a voucher to get the mother fixed, even though I'm sure that, like, you know, if they have from the previous litter, they must have some females left. It's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. And honestly, I look at dog breeders and pedophiles are on the same fucking, they're like, to me, they're equivalent. They're not bad. They're just, sorry, but a female dog is not a way to profit off from. It is so sad. I stand people. I literally just cannot stand human beings.
promising to sue everybody who lied about him and the dollars of lawsuits against those who said that Donald Trump did anything wrong. And with the release of millions and millions of documents and photos, videos, some are really damning and will probably end the careers of many people. We hope it has to happen.
See what I mean? See what I mean? He'll sit there and say, many, really damning, which hopefully will end the careers of many, many people. Dude, are you fucking me? Do you realize the shit that it says about your president, your beloved Donald Trump in those files?
It's not one of them. That's just the reality. It's just not one of them. And we have said for a very long time on this channel, well, wait a second. If the libs who are in control of the deep state had access to photos and videos that implicate Donald Trump in horrific crimes, they could have ended Trump's career like that. You're telling me that they opted for trying to shoot the guy in Butler, raid his house, put him in prison for 400 years? They opted for impeachments instead of that, instead of just releasing the Epstein files. It's crazy, man. It defies logic. But
it's all a fucking act. It's all a stage. They're all acting, Benny Johnson, and apparently you're one of the actors too. You're one of the characters, because I'm sorry, but anyone that still stands by this man and says he's innocent and didn't do anything to hurt children, you are fucking beyond, and you deserve to be fucking euthanized. You deserve to be euthanized. Sit there and fucking say that this man had nothing to do with it. His name is mentioned something like 5,000 times in those files. It's disgusting. They're all in on it. It truly is disgusting. They're all in on it. How is he going to sue someone for billions? Sue him. I would love to see them actually go through with that. Let's do this. Let's actually do this. Sue them. Let's get to the fucking... what happens when you sue? What's that word? What's that word? When you sue someone, discovery. Let's get to the discovery, because I'm sorry, but you can't sue someone for something that is true. When someone is saying something that is true about you, can't just go after them and like a lot of times these people will settle before it even comes down to that. They'll settle out of court and they'll get it out of the way so that they don't have to get to the, why does my head keep that fucking word? Discovery. So they don't get to the discovery, because then it would be like it would turn into a countersuit, and then it would all just go down. It would all just go down. But photos from Epstein files appear to show Andrew on the only look through some of it. I've only looked through some of it. I haven't seen all of it, but what I have seen.
But, well, these are Trump saying on his plane that he plans on filing billions of dollars worth of lawsuits against a man named Michael Wolff to start with. Michael Wolff is this scumbag author. He looks like this. You might remember him from Trump Term 1.
He might be a scumbag. You can't sue him for something he said that was true, because everything that man has said, according to what I have seen for evidence, is true. He's not making anything up. Okay, I want to find some of the all 3 million files. Let's watch this. Jimmy Dore. He has flipped on all of his campaign promises.
Even when I supported him, I said this when I was supporting. Oh, I'm going to turn on him. I know he's going to be a disappointment. I know this is going to be a disaster, because we had already seen the first 4 years. But I will say, I am surprised by how awful.
It's the elite pedophile satanic cabal versus we, the people. That's it. It's the elite satanic pedophile cabal versus the law-abiding citizens. That's it. And when the sooner people come to that realization, we can stop playing left, red versus blue kind of shit. I will never pick a side ever again. I am right in the middle. I have viewpoints from each perspective, from each party. I have certain beliefs, but I believe in protecting children first and foremost. And like these, I don't think that a sex offender registry should even exist. It shouldn't exist. We shouldn't allow sex offenders to register. We should literally just turn them into Swiss cheese as soon as they are convicted. They 3 meals a day and housed in a fucking prison. They just don't deserve it. We're spending billions of tax dollars supporting their life to be able to continue to stay alive. Just no. You hurt a fucking child or an animal, you deserve death. Nothing more, nothing less. I will always stand by that.
It's been
This is so
like it's gotten to the
really
point where it does kind of seem like the guy has kind of like he's had some type of break or he's snapped or.
We have special guest with us. Dave Smith is here.
Not a breaker.
You know him, comedian, podcaster, political commentator, known for his pointed liberal views. Okay, so he's here with us now. Hey, how you doing, Dave?
It is good versus evil.
Good. What's up, guys? Good to be back.
Oh, also, Kurt Mexican is here. Hi, Kurt. How are
I
you?
wore my landman outfit to talk to you.
Our entire world. It's not just our country. It seems like every country is ran by these satanic pedophiles. I don't understand it. And I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how they're still in power. Like, I thought I was going to wake up this morning, honestly, and see like Donald Trump steps down from office due to the latest release of the Epstein files. It's just too much. It's too much. I can't even believe. All right, let's go to here. Right? Let's watch some of these. I read the Epstein files for hours. Here's what I found. Hold on, okay? We're going to see what this says. People are not only...
The DOJ is officially rooted. There's so much in these files, it's almost impossible to read everything and look at all the pictures and everything. Read and shit. Look at this website someone made. It's called Epstein Secrets. It's relationships with everyone when you click each name. And it's just...
EpsteinExposed.org. I'll put it in here. I've got it, but I have not, and I mean, as much as I should. Looked at it as much as I should. And do what you got to do. I don't want to keep you, but I will always be, I'm going to try to do more live streams because I like the interaction, honestly. I just like the community. I live alone with my animals and I just don't have much human interaction. So it's nice, even though I don't know who you are personally, I feel, like I feel a connection. I feel a community. And I think that we all need this little community because it's honestly like crazy. It is crazy. Thanks for seeing us from that craziness. I'm just glad you guys like even gave me the opportunity to share any of my thoughts with you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know I can't take Aaron in big doses at all. Stop and push his card games, which I get. If that's your business, that's how you make a living. Anyway, you girls have a great afternoon. Give your doggy some love for me. I do love people. It's nice to just have that. Yes, I'll be there. I love talking to people.
Donald Trump over here, 3,100 mentions.
Crazy. Look at all.
So we even got my boy Stephen Hawking over here. Like, come on, Stephen.
I'm pretty sure
What you
Donald
doing
Trump's
in
name
violence?
was
We all
mentioned
know violence.
times.
Would you look at this? June 2023. Do you have time for a call to discuss a victim who recently comes to Epstein Maxwell case? This victim has identified other potential traffickers. Remember, the government tells us all day that there's no other people that did anything. So here's an FBI tip line. And this one is obviously a bunch of tips. I mean, people call in and leave tips. So some of it could be horseshit. I mean, that's just how this works, but some of it could be true. You know what I mean? Redacted reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was 13 to 14 when this occurred.
And again, this does not matter if it was 35 fucking years ago. The fact that this has been kept a secret this long is beyond disturbing. It's beyond disturbing. And for Cash Patel to sit up there and say there is no substantial, what is the word he uses? Substantial, and he uses another word like no substantial, what is it called? No substantial credible evidence to prove that any of this happened. That is his word. So they're basically saying like all these people are not credible. These witnesses that came forward 35 years ago saying they were raped when they were 13, it's not credible. And then when they look into it and say like, well, the FBI tried to get a hold of this person, but there was no response. They didn't have any luck.
And allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit after she laughed about biting President Trump. Said she was also abused by Epstein. The response from the tip line was spoke with the caller who identified redacted as friend. Lead was sent to Washington offices to conduct interview.
No response
Redacted reports she had a friend, redacted, who was a personal assistant to Epstein, and Florida from 86 until
If they did, see, 2 voicemails left, no response received. If they did actually leave 2 voicemails and no response was received, I'm wondering if that's because these people were threatened. And then, I mean, why would they come clean if they were threatened?
91
They just wouldn't. It's terrifying.
or 92. This friend shared names of some of the guests at Epstein's parties to include Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. 2 voicemails left, no response
This is
received on the
infuriating, dude.
response.
I don't-
At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, the caller reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On other brothers, Alan and Orrin, here are the 2 guys that they're talking about in this complaint. They're actually going to trial this week in federal courts, which is wild. Alan and Orrin lured caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated that Orrin R-worded her best friend, and a third brother, Tao, R-worded a 14-year-old girl named Blank. Caller named other individuals in the big orgy with her and other young girls and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported she was a victim and witnessed a ST ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 95 and 96. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell's madam and broker for sex parties, clients of whom Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participation in being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked of what went on there or who she saw, she would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other. Claims to have video of high-profile sex parties dealing with cartels.
For the back 9 holes like the other cunts. Who said that? Then head of security that. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security if she ever talked to what went on there or who she saw. He was for the back 9 holes like the other cunts. Wow.
And having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. 1, she was spoken to and deemed not credible. Dude, look, okay, this is crazy. Now I think I know why they're requesting mandatory psychiatric evaluations. But then on figured out, they posted shit and then they're realizing they should have redacted certain things. They delete it, then re-upload it. I mean, that's what happened here. Claims he was contacted by a female victim of Epstein who wants to publish a book, provided background information for himself, such as Epstein by U.S. president, among several other pieces of information. The victim reportedly knew about criminal activity that occurred in multiple states and on airplanes, and told complainant there were films of prominent men such as Epstein, Clinton, Trump, and that Ghislaine Maxwell was in the videos as well. No probative information. A complainant reported meeting Lisa, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm an idiot, a hospital where they were roommates in 2000. She was invited to Epstein's house. She met a model scout named Bobby Cox.
So disturbing.
While at this party, complainant stated that they all had been invited by Donald Trump to the party at Mar-a-Lago. She wanted to go to the party and was allegedly told by the V name that it was for prostitutes. So this girl overheard about a party to go to Mar-a-Lago, and apparently the guy was like, no, it's for prostitutes, you're not going. When she was 14, Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly approached her about modeling, international travel, and massages. Never reached out to Maxwell because of the offer sounded as if it was most based around modeling, which she was unable to do so. She made a podcast of her story about her encounter with Ghislaine when she was 14. She was spoken to twice. First time she was applied as instructor and went to Epstein once. Second time called the royal family, was contacting her about images of Prince Andrews. Claims she would send an email to corroborate, no email received. What? Complainant reported his ex-girlfriends blank were victims of Epstein's and one was murdered. While working as a limousine driver, complainant recalled picking up Donald Trump in 95 to take him to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. In that ride, he recalled hearing some of the things Trump spoke about on his cell phone were very concerning and described being a few seconds from pulling the limousine over and within a few seconds of him pulling out of the center that Trump repeatedly stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone. One of the complainant's ex-girlfriend blank told complainant Trump R-worded her, as did Epstein. Voicemail left, no response. This on the right is the response by the tip line, by the FBI tip line. So they hear this tip and they don't do anything besides leaving a voicemail. Callers talking about crimes committed against her. She claims to be a prisoner. She references Lee's family, President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. No contact made, lives in Australia. All right, so that one reporter neighbors saw modeling gigs at Trump Modeling Agency and NYC between the years 98 and 2000. She went on cruises set up by a recruiter. The reporter the neighbor was allegedly R-worded by someone they think is Epstein. Complaint following up after a call with NYPD officer regarding her previous tip reported that she was forced to perform sex acts when she was 13,
And I
and
really,
pregnant in 84. High profile individuals involved.
I'm
The
shocked.
murder and
I'm grateful
disposal
that
of her
they did.
newborn daughter.
Really
Complaint reported
can't
Donald Trump
imagine the shit
participated in
they
regularly
wanted.
paying in money to was present when her uncle murdered her newborn child. So I've heard about this one. So I guess some of this is mixed in with older news because I feel like I heard about that like a month ago. I mean, I'm reading this so casually, but can you imagine if it was any other name besides Trump in this? Replace everything that I've read about Trump with Obama. Let's just imagine that. There'd be some people raising hell over this, but some people don't seem to care. 87 ended up at Trump Plaza. Victim 1 saw
This is-
Trump and wanted to meet him.
No.
Unknown male gave Victim 1 a drink. Victim 1 woke up naked and saw over $300 on the bed. Victim 1 room. She
This is
remembered seeing a
crazy.
flash of Trump's face. Victim alerted. She didn't go to the hospital to get an R-word
Okay,
kit
Cooper.
performed because she didn't think anyone was drunk. Victim 1 believed Trump was behind it. Victim 1 left a bar with a man who no one was familiar with Victim 1. Victim 1 was never seen a few years ago. Remains were discovered that matched the description of what Victim 1 was wearing when she went. Many tests were inconclusive.
And how
No
many
contact made. Victim
people they
identified as
have- they have-
deceased. Hold on.
Apparently side-
Gathered from that is this
None of
poor
the people they
innocent
have
girl got
on
R-worded
silent
allegedly
because of this.
by.
I'm
Can you imagine if
sad.
this was any other person?
So
This is
sad.
fucking crazy. Donald Trump had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's and by entering a
That is
finger and
fucking
rated the children.
He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. Oh my god, dude. Ah! This shit enrages me. Nothing enrages me more than this. Nothing. Hurting animals, hurting children, nothing fucking makes me so homicidally enraged. I just can't. I can't.
On tightness. The guests were eldermen. Trump were there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was there. Attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to get to Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 when Donald Trump R-worded me. No contact information provided. I mean, that one is insane. Holy shit. I'm gonna have to probably bleep some of that. I don't even know what to say about that one. That one's baffling. All right, now I'm gonna go on to some Elon Musk emails with Jeffrey. Or I just searched anytime Elon is mentioned. I mean, come on. December 30th, 2013, redacted to and from. Why are we redacting that? Organize Elon Musk to island for January 2nd. Why are you trying to go to the island so bad, Musk? What you doing up there? February 20th, 2013, when can Elon Musk meet Jeffrey Epstein at SpaceX? Now they're talking about solar, getting electricity to the Caribbean island. Another email, can Elon attend the dinner on the 23rd? April 2013. And this is after Epstein was already convicted of something, by the way. I mean, he had that whole situation in like 07 or whatever. Follow up with Elon for the dinner on April 23rd.
Elon Musk.
This is
Jeffrey
crazy, bro.
Epstein
Baby
to
go
have
to
him to his
dinner.
island.
Dear Jeffrey, did you have dinner with Elon? There's options. So this is this guy, Sultan. I can't pronounce the name. Apparently he's some wealthy person from Dubai. So take that with whatever you want to think that's about. Just a reminder, Elon was asked about coming to your island on January 2nd. I mean, this is emails of them basically begging to come to the island several times. From Elon here. Elon says, actually, I could fly back on the 3rd. We will be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island on the 2nd? Jeffrey says 2 or 3rd would be perfect. I will come and get you. From Jeff to Elon, I will send a heli for you. Oh my God. This is Jeffrey sending this to whoever this is, Julian Glover. Listen to it. He's simply brilliant, though. And it's a link to Elon Musk 2018 Joe Rogan episode. Imagine what Joe Rogan think about that. Epstein was listening to his shit in 2018. Look at this. Elon Musk to island, December 6th. Google Calendar notification. 2014, bro. Are there any flight logs of him going there? Because it sure as hell seems like he'd be going there. Oh my God, I forgot he tweeted this. Musk tweeted it, even though it could have been business related only.
Why would he
but
even-
you around someone
Why
that
would
was
he even say
convicted as
that? Just so
criminal,
you
bro.
know,
This is a really
I'm sending
disturbing
Epstein files.
email right here.
Bro,
Do
you
you
are
want me to
too.
try to
You said-
do is torture her
You want
on
me to try to
redacted?
do
And
this?
I don't know if this is Jeffrey's Jeffrey, but it's September 9th, 2011.
Wow, I
Why
read
are
this
they
the first I
redacting
saw
who is he
that.
talking to here, bro? And then
Try
here's
to
another
correct-
disturbing one. Where are
Try
you?
to-
Are you okay? I love the
love this
torture
one.
video from
Wow.
Jeffrey to redacted. Once again, I ask, why are we redacting?
My skin is
Who is he
crawling.
talking to about a torture
My
video?
fucking skin is
I thought the
crawling
whole point of
watching
this was being transparent. So this is from June 2021 at 4:07 p.m. redacted called FBI National Threat Operation. Blank was recently interviewed by an FBI agent. However, he felt triggered as a victim and not report all the information. Redacted had recordings of Donald Trump, Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell discussing marketing strategies for high-profile sex parties at the Trump golf course. We're in the Cayman Islands. Blank was part of the Sinaloa cartel to walk away from the cartel due to his status with Epstein and Maxwell. Hold on. The guy snitching was friends with them and part of this cartel. He was able to walk away from the cartel due to his status with Epstein and Maxwell. In the recordings, Trump stated he was aware of the underage sex parties and charged the house money of the golf course to fund the sex parties. He witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl. Okay, it's the same person as we read earlier. He claims she is buried behind the 19th hole at Donald Trump golf course. I don't even know what to say.
Exactly.
Blank is aware of the 3 separate occasions in which
body's
girl.
buried. What? He claims she is buried behind the 19th hole at the Donald Trump golf course. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. They had all this information. They've had all of this information for years, just sitting there, just fucking sitting there. Somebody needs to go. Of course, that motherfucker owns. Dig it up. I bet there's bodies everywhere.
Buried there. Blank was told if he spoke about the incident, he would end up in the hole as well. Blank tell members and understand how to market the 12 to 14-year-old victims to the cartel. Trump is said to know of Stormy Daniels' payments months before he denied it is the subject of the email. Jeffrey says, once you know the code, it's all clear. What the fuck are they talking about code?
Right?
From Jeffrey to this person, Landon Thomas Jr., he feels alone and is nuts. I told everyone from day one, evil beyond belief, mad. And most thought I was signals, ? Lies after lies. Landon Thomas Jr. says he's scaring the shit out of me now. He could well tank the global economy. Can Barack talk sense to him anymore? Maybe it's time for you to jump in. He is throwing caution in the when. Why wouldn't he take your call? They're clearly talking about Trump here. Can Barack talk sense to him anymore? Obama talk sense to Trump? I'm confused.
No, not Barack Obama.
Jesus, this email says Epstein was paid $158 million by Black between 2012 and 2017 for services related to a variety of tax and estate planning matters. Too far to exceed the paid by Black to his other professional advisors. This compensation scheme, which ranged between $23 million and $26 million for a number of years, appears to have far exceeded the median CEO paid for Fortune 500 CEOs. So this is about Leon Black, who never $58 million. One businessman. I mean, this is fucking crazy. Look what these guys said on Reddit. Seems like dataset 10-zip isn't available on the server anymore. I don't see anything at the link. Made it to 57.6 gigabytes downloaded before this happened. Don't rely on the DOM while everyone is trying to get a hold of them. We're going to have to brute force the downloads. Look at all these guys saying they're downloading and then it dies suddenly. I was at 47 gigabytes on dataset 10 and then can't access anything on the server. They're doing this shit on purpose. I'm telling you, the government isn't dumb. All right, well, I just read for like an hour and a half. I've been scanning all day for shit. Like, that's interesting, but I think it actually is impossible to look through everything. That's it for this video. If you want me to read more, I will. Hit subscribe. Love you, boys. Peace out.
That's fucking infuriating, dude, that this shit is just, for years now, just been sitting there for fucking years. Down for
Good morning, America. Southern Slam. Winter storm warning.
None of it. It's fucking gross. Live.
Hey, everybody. Thanks to my good friends at Midas Touch for partnering with. Now, we all know that Donald Trump sex trafficked girls to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell through his Mar-a-Lago spa. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. So it stands to reason that Trump also probably trafficked
million Epstein files that have been released thus far. First off, remember 3 million files are still missing at least. So I think the most devastating. But as you know, I went through all 3 million documents on Friday and I gave my initial report. I've since gone through it again. Go back, watch my other analysis of the 3 million documents. But what I'm about to share with you right now, it's dark, it's grim, it's ghoulish. Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files, over 5,000 references to his name. The entire cabal is the Trump regime. Howard Lutnick's mentioned. Donald Trump's new chairman of the Federal Reserve is mentioned. Elon Musk is repeated. Donald Trump's friends, NFL owners are mentioned, Stephen Tisch, crew. And it is grotesque what is happening here. Bannon all day, it seems like there's constant communications there. And let's start this document. Epstein is text messaging Bannon in May. Trump had a fundraiser next door to my house on 71 yesterday. I told them to ask if he wanted to come in for a massage. So Epstein is saying that Donald Trump's doing a fundraiser next door in 2019 in May. You see the messages right here for yourself.
This is crazy,
and he's
man.
telling Bannon, who's, you know, one of Donald Trump's closest advisors and allies, that he's saying if Donald Trump wants to come in for a massage.
I don't believe Epstein is.
But then also on December 25th, 2018, Jeffrey Epstein is text messaging and sending emails as well. We see an email right now that he's saying he's involved in the selection of the next chairman of the next Treasury Secretary, someone to replace Steve Mnuchin. I want to share with you the secrets of the.
Oops. Oh.
But as you know, I went through all 3 million documents on Friday to his name. The entire cabal is the Trump regime. Howard Reserve is mentioned. Elon Musk is repeatedly mentioned. Donald Trump's friends, NFL owners are mentioned. Stephen Tisch. I mean, it is Trump's crew, and it is grotesque what has happened.
Let's see. Benny Johnson.
What's up, guys? It's Benny.
Donald
BLM
Trump
terrorists
is
and Don Lemon have been.
I can't stand Benny Johnson.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. BLM terrorists and Don Lemon have been arrested. Bill Clinton is being held in contempt of Congress, and he'll be arrested. And now we're getting the release of the Epstein list. All of it. It's actually happening. I mean, it's not clickbait. It's real. Hundreds of thousands, millions of files of the Epstein list will be released today, Junior. Millions of explosive Epstein files dumped by DOJ in shock releases, and they're already ending careers. They're already ending careers of some of the most evil people on earth.
End careers.
Today, the U.S. Justice Department will release 3 million.
This guy makes me fucking.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on part 2 of the
Fucking people, man. They're all shells. They all
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on part 2 of the Epstein file latest release. I had to break this up into 2 parts because it's just so much information.
There is so much.
So on Friday, I covered the information that basically implicates Donald Trump. There's some celebrities that are mentioned here as well, some of them not surprising to me.
All right, folks. So I, like many Epstein files over the past days, I am nowhere near done. There are millions of pages to go through. It is a lot so far. It is disgusting. It will make you feel sick. It mentions Donald Trump's family, Mar-a-Lago. We're going to get into right now is that people on social media are talking about it. Maybe it just hasn't been talk about it a little bit. Before I do that, please make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment if you're on Spotify or Apple. Please make sure to follow along and rate the show 5 stars. It goes an incredibly long way. I have spent so many hours going through these documents to find this and many others we've talked about on the show, but it's bad. It's put it bad. I'm just going to put it that way. It's bad. Let's get into it. So what you're looking at on your screen right now, maybe you've been wondering, is a journal that has been scanned in the Epstein files that was written by a 15/16. There were earlier pages that make it seem like she's younger, but around that age of Epstein, someone that was trafficked by Epstein. And it seems to be one of the more extremes that Epstein committed against her, other powerful men committed against her. And what's interesting about this document in particular, this journal, is that actually it's written in a cryptic way. So it's not just entries in a journal that you would read a very certain way to understand it. So, for example, let's just take this paragraph down here. It says LKMRLG. It's not how you read it. You read it down, then diagonal, then down again. So what I mean by that is it would actually be A-E and then M-A, like Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. That's what it spells out. This is a reference in this journal by an Epstein victim to Donald Trump's house. It says, like, it took me a long time to get a hang of reading this. It's quite difficult once you try to get through the words pretty quickly. But it says, like Mar-a-Lago, and where I'd see Mr. Joe and Mrs. Ann. So that's what it says. And to be clear, we know that's what it says because in some of the entries of the journal, the DOJ or whoever investigated. So the full paragraph, you see, this is the part we read, like Mar-a-Lago, and where I see Mr. Joe and Mrs. This is what the full paragraph on that page actually says, including some of the writing above. It says, this is not surprising, but there's no such thing as a child prostitute. They are children and cannot consent. They are missing the biggest in my own backyard and so many more, like Mar-a-Lago and where I see Mr. Joe. And so transparently, I've read this many times and I don't know what it means. I'm sure that there's information we are certainly missing in this, who wrote this journal. We don't know what's going on here. But when the writer, the author, who again was a little girl at that time, a child, is saying, there's no such thing as a child prostitute. They cannot consent. They are missing the biggest in my own backyard and so many more, like Mar-a-Lago and where I see Mr. Joe and Mrs. Ann. It seems like, and you can, disagree with me in the comments. Please let me know if you interpret this in a different way. I'm trying to find it out. But it seems like she's referencing Mar-a-Lago in a nefarious way. Something has taken place at Mar-a-Lago. And why would she know what Mar-a-Lago is? Right? Was Epstein bringing her over to Donald Trump as well?
My camera is frozen. Shit. Somebody saying. My camera's frozen, but my voice. My camera's frozen, but. Weird.
Mar-a-Lago is referenced down in the corner. Just look at some of the paper clippings. You'll notice from articles, newspapers, whatever it might be. Unlike drugs, a woman's body rescued 10,000 child prostitutes of Mar-a-Lago. I mean, this is, in my view, why is Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's home, being referenced in this worse, if you can even believe it? So this is a separate page of the journal that was written by this girl. There are many, many different pages. And I want you to look down here at the bottom where Ivana Trump, there's a cutout of Ivana Trump, entrepreneur. She was once asked me how I handled the press during my divorce. She said, you came out of your divorce with dignity and pride, and that's how I would like to come out with mine. So Ivana Trump, a member of the Trump family, obviously Donald Trump's ex-wife, is mentioned in the documents, and then there's a cryptic message next to it. And what this says, I first went through it. And I want you folks to tell me what you think. No, you can't have dignity if you've been with him. I know I have none, only Skittles. That's what this says. If you go down and then diagonal, down, diagonal, and so on, it says, doesn't this lady know you can't have dignity if you've been with him? So is the author of this journal, this notebook, saying that she's been with Donald Trump? I mean, she's saying, you don't have dignity if you've been with him. I know I don't have any. I only have Skittles. So is that what the author is saying? Again, I don't know. It's all very cryptic. We have no context to this document that we're looking at right now, but it's incredibly serious stuff. And Donald Trump has been mentioned, and maybe there's other entries in the Epstein files from this journal that I haven't come across, but this is so far what we've seen. And again, there are other paper clippings in this journal that are just, God, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's really difficult to read. For example, it's good to be little. It's scratched out and says it's bad to be little. And in addition to this, there are other pages, and this is where it gets really heavy, and I will give you a warning on this stuff. It is tough. There's other pages where this girl is talking about being pregnant with Epstein's baby and getting a procedure to terminate that pregnancy and describing it as a horrible experience. I mean, obviously, you can look on the page right now and you can see what she's talking about and read it for yourself. But there are many, and you can see, like, again, this is all cryptic writing. You'd have to sit here, all of this, and go down, then diagonal, down, then diagonal. But it's actually, thankfully, in this document, transcribed. And she's saying, you know, I can't go to school like that. Make it stop. I know Ghislaine is trying, but nothing changes. And she's talking about having her pregnancy terminated. In the hall, Ghislaine said she was beautiful. She was, not is. She was a beautiful girl. I heard her. Where is she? Why did she stop whimpering? She was born. I mean, this is.
Oh my God, dude.
You know, it's tough. It's really tough stuff. So if you'd like to read the documents for yourself, I'll put them in the description if you'd like to go and review these yourself. But the final one I want to talk about in this journal is this paragraph. And I actually out to me in particular, and I have it for you here. It says, method, but I did it. It says, quote, there are always flights of horror. About that. Let's go back to the middle. Apologies. With Jeffrey, Mr. Leonsis, Mr. Case, Mr. by a seemingly good federal worker, and even rented, it is horror and nothing is as it seems. I'm so confused by everything, and people you expect to be good, like senators like George Mitchell, that this word didn't make sense to me, but senators like George Mitchell, who you think will be like a grandpa, is crazy. And what's interesting about this is Senator George Mitchell, a Democrat who's of misconduct, of assaulting her. And so his name is also coming up in this journal in a obviously very, very serious way. And I want everybody to remember that Kash Patel said that there's no credible information that Epstein trafficked minors. He said that there's nothing new in the Epstein files. And we're reading this journal where this girl is outlining men who she is saying are bad. She's talking about Mar-a-Lago, and that, let's go back up here. Who are they? I don't know. They are missing the big Ivana Trump, saying, doesn't she know you can't have dignity if you've been with him? I don't know what any of this means. Transparently, I'm not part of the investigation, so we don't know. You're not part of the investigation either. We don't know. But this seems like very serious stuff. And the final context I want to give you in all of this is we just learned that the FBI last year put together a presentation that outlined allegations against powerful men. The Justice Department last year compiled a 21-page slide presentation that summarized its investigation into Epstein, including allegations of sexual misconduct against numerous powerful men. The men included Donald Trump. They had Donald Trump on the files.
This is crazy.
Of this slideshow where they were detailing the allegations against powerful men. And we've seen some of the allegations against Donald Trump. These were in the Epstein files, and they are very, I've come across truly. And there's so much more in this journal. If you'd like to read for your, please make sure to subscribe down below. Definitely comment on this one and let.
This is unbelievable shit. My heart hurts right now. My head hurts. My heart hurts. My insides hurt. Like, this is deep, dark. So many people voted for this fucking guy, thinking that he was the answer to all of the problems, thinking that he was going to save us all. He's going to protect the children. He's going to protect the women. He's going to protect us all. He's going to put America first. And then he basically walked up to every single one of us and fucking punched us right in the fucking face and said, haha, joke's on you. Joke's on you. That's how I feel. This piece of shit. I just can't even fucking believe this shit. I can't even believe it. Oh, man. It's infuriating. Like, it's so infuriating. I can't even fucking believe it.
Like on the video, if you're on Spotify or Apple, please make sure to rate the show 5 stars. I'm going to continue to go through these documents. It's taken me a long time, but we're going to get the rest of your day if you can after reading what we just read. But I appreciate you greatly, and we will talk soon.
Watch as Senator Richard Blumenthal tells FBI Director
What did I do? Hold on, babies. Oh, man. This is so deep. Such fucking tragic shit. This is just fucking tragic, man. It really is. These poor children. These poor children. I want to see, like, what are they even saying about this when they're being asked by reporters? Are there
as the midterms
anybody
rapidly
actually
approach
reporting
and
on this
Donald
shit
Trump's
from the
support and
mainstream
approval
media that,
rapidly
like,
plummet, given the fact that he's
Justin-
underwater in every major
I know,
policy
they don't
area,
ask
in
his
every
administration
major
anything
poll.
about
White
this?
House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt went to
on.
Fox News, the propaganda arm of the Republican Party, in a desperate attempt to reclaim the narrative. And instead, per usual, she just transparently lied her ass off. But before we end,
Hi, babies. This makes me so sad. This makes me so sad. I can't help but think about all these children. All these fucking poor children that like, when is this gonna end? When is this gonna end? When is somebody gonna do something about this? When? God, I just
Donald
can't
Trump
fucking
has the
handle it.
memory of a goldfish, and it looks like he's trying to show us that every single day with his constant
Hold on. I need to fix this because my screen's not showing up the way it's supposed to. What the hell? What am I doing wrong? What the hell? What am I doing wrong? Let me see. We'll just go back to this entire screen because that way I know it works.
ramble decline. He did just now in an interview
Okay,
with
there we
press
go.
gaggle outside of Mar-a-Lago, in which Donald Trump forgot his presidency and what happened just 24 hours ago, because he is completely out of it. And the admission that he made, or I guess I should say the deflection that he went with, exposes how much he is just a puppet of his handlers behind the scene. And Donald Trump knows that this is how we see him. He understands that we view him as politically and actually impotent. He's politically impotent, but also, let's be real about Donald Trump. He's weak. Cognitively, he's failing. Physically, he's failing. Politically, as we'll get to, he's failing. And so Donald Trump's trying to puff himself up, pretend that's not the case. And it's what happened moments before in the same press gaggle. He forgot everything, but it started.
Sir, on Iran, the Supreme Leader today said that U.S. attack could spark a regional war. Giving you that.
Why wouldn't he say that? Of course you can say that, but we have the biggest, most powerful ships in the world over there, very close. Hopefully we'll make a deal. If we don't make a deal, then we'll find out whether or not he was right.
Mr. President, on Texas.
Marjorie Taylor Greene gives what I think is a pretty good description of why MAGA is so furious with Donald Trump. And it's for answers like this. His focus on foreign policy, as she describes it. But Donald Trump couldn't communicate a central foreign policy strategy. Donald Trump has no real clue how the world order should operate best. He likes to intimidate, puff himself up, act tough, go to countries, threaten terror attack, right? Have a pat on the back and have world leaders tell him he's fantastic and special. That's what Donald Trump wants. There's no foreign policy strategy here. Donald Trump isn't a diplomat. He's a dick. And that's it. And that's it. Donald Trump understands that we view him as weak. And so he tries to act like he's tough. And it didn't stop with just Iran. It also moved on to Cuba. Donald Trump had to say this.
Yeah.
Sir, what do you want out of a Cuba deal?
Well, Cuba's a failing nation. It has been for a long time, but now it doesn't have Venezuela to prop it up. So we're talking to the people from Cuba, the highest people in Cuba, to see what happens. I want the people that.
How come nobody's asking him about the fucking girls that he raped? How come nobody's asking this motherfucker about anything about these Epstein files? Why? Like, there should be not any other questions asked pertaining to anything but this.
Probably treated by Cuba to be taken care of, to be able to go back and do what they have to do.
I fucking hate
they have their family
Trump.
there. They haven't been able to see them in years, many years. You deal with Cuba.
President, back to Texas.
It's in bad shape. Cuba's in bad shape. Cuba has a humanitarian problem.
They're a failing country, and quite frankly, so terrible. And we need to take it over. And probably oil. We're going to talk. Just no matter what, we're going to say the words oil. Again, this is Donald Trump trying to pretend like he has any control. The sycophants aren't also usually the superstars, and Todd Blanche is an incredible example of that. He was Donald Trump's personal attorney, and he was bad at the job, but he was good at one thing: loyalty to Donald Trump. But I promise you, loyalty to Donald Trump will not convince Americans that the man isn't a pedo and that he isn't still actively covering for
Donald Trump,
because that is what's happening. And Todd Blanche went on with Dana Bash this morning and tried to convince us otherwise. But it's not dying loyalty to Donald Trump comes off so clear, and you are so phony, it is obvious, especially when you are asked about the literal list that Donald Trump is on, mocked up by the FBI, and you just break down and start pushing some ridiculous narrative about how the media is after Donald Trump. It was nonsensical, the only description of this interview, but it started with another nonsense and the rest of the corruption of the sycophants of this administration.
Earlier this week, the FBI went into the elections office and these 2020 ballots, voter rolls, scanner images, and the first quote, they got into the votes. You're going to see some interesting about it. Why was he so involved in an FBI and DOJ raid?
Well, just because he said that doesn't mean that he's involved. I don't believe he was involved. This is and I can't comment on it beyond what you just said, which is that search warrant that was authorized by a federal judge, by a magistrate judge in Atlanta, and seized those records, and they have been seized by the FBI as going criminal investigation.
He said interesting things are happening, so it sounds like he was briefed on it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not around when the president's briefed or not briefed. What I've said is that this is a criminal investigation, so it's a tightly held, as it must be under the law.
We don't give a shit about the 2020 election, Donald Trump. We don't give a shit. If you think that the election was rigged or stolen, we don't give a shit. What we give a shit about is protecting children and locking up fucking pedophiles like you. I'm sick of this shit. Nothing else fucking matters right now. Nothing else should matter right now. We don't care about the 2020 election, whether it was rigged or not. We fucking want you out of office. You need to get the fuck out of office. You have been exposed as... I think this whole time, this has been the Trump files, not Epstein. Epstein is in the Trump files, not Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the biggest cover-up of my life, biggest cover-up in the history of this country. And children are being sacrificed and raped because of it. How do you fucking sleep at night, Todd Blanche? How do you fucking sleep at night? Any of you, Kash Patel, you make me fucking sick. All of you should be fucking locked up.
the grand jury investigation, and that's how we're proceeding.
What are they investigating?
As you know, we can't talk about specifics of any grand jury investigation. I will tell you, as I said on Friday, as the president said, to the American people, hopefully to everybody in this country, Democrats and Republicans.
Highest importance to the American people is protecting children and exposing pedophiles for what they are and locking them up. What don't you get? That is the most important thing to the American people. The majority of us that voted for Donald Trump are not going to vote again. No, we're not. We don't care. We don't care. We want children protected.
Alike. And so we are doing everything we can to make sure that we have.
Comes to Georgia, claims of voter fraud there. They got the 2020 ballots have been debunked over and over again. There were multiple recounts. Why was the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, present at an FBI raid?
Times in the 3 million Jeffrey Epstein documents.
First of all, it wasn't an FBI raid by FBI agents in the middle of the day.
Why was she there?
And secondly, I don't know why the director was there. She is not part of the grand jury investigation, but she is for sure a key part of our efforts at election integrity and making sure that we have free and fair elections. She's an expert in that space, and it's a big part of what she and her team look at every day. But beyond that, I don't, like I said before, this is a grand jury investigation being conducted by a U.S. attorney, and that's where we have to leave it for now.
And safe children.
How the Tulsi Gabbard story, her appearance in Fulton County is ridiculous and obviously corrupt, is that Tulsi Gabbard was not allowed at the meetings with regards to the Maduro capture. She was not allowed to learn about what was going to happen. Tulsi Gabbard has been left out or kicked out of just intelligence meeting after intelligence meeting because they are afraid she might share info with the Russians, which we're already doing through Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. So I really don't know how worried you could be about that. But because they don't trust her to do her job. They don't trust her to do a job that keeps us safe. Now, they do trust her to do a job that is going and intimidating election workers and joining Kash Patel on a political stunt. They trust and lie. They're all fine with that, but an actual job, no. They're not going to do that, which is the story of everyone in this Trump administration. These aren't competent people who know what they're doing. These are people who have a clear goal, though, and that is to defend Donald Trump at all costs, which is exactly what Todd Blanche did when he was pressed by Dana Bash on a list, one of many that Donald Trump is on as it relates to Epstein, a list made by the FBI full of the allegations against him, which of course they haven't looked into, and Todd Blanche's explanation for why. It wasn't an explanation. It was another, well, the media is at fault here. Why are you asking me this? In avoidance of the question, a complete breakdown. It was not good.
Among these new files is a list compiled by the FBI just in August of numerous salacious and, to be really clear, unverified allegations about President Trump. Why did the FBI create this list last year? And have all of these claims been investigated by the DOJ?
So look, it's not about President Trump. It's about a ton of people, multiple people that were, quote, in the Epstein files. And what I think folks will see when they review the materials we released is that there have been hundreds of calls made to the FBI where allegations are made by either anonymous individuals or people who are very quickly determined to not be credible, whether it's the nature of what they're saying or the fact they won't provide any information or corroboration. And that's part of the Epstein files.
If their lives are being threatened, what do you think they're going to do?
But the fact that you created a list, the FBI created a list about the allegations against President Trump, it is certainly noteworthy. I mean, he's a sitting president.
Absolutely.
And the question is whether or not the DOJ, but the question is, and I'm not saying that they're verified at all, and that's what my question, what you have on those lists.
Look at him.
Yes, of course. You're not being fair in that question because that index, that list you're talking about was not just President Trump. It was all kinds of individuals, other politicians, other, quote, famous people, where we wanted to understand, there were members of Congress.
The majority of us do not give a shit about the rest of the people. This motherfucker is the sitting president of the United States. And if they're credible or not credible, I mean, come on. There are hundreds of allegations here. Hundreds. Just alone against the president, just the president. Yes, there are other names in the files, but hundreds of allegations made just about Donald Trump alone. And his name is mentioned 6,000 times in the files that have been released so far.
That were accusing us of hiding things, which we're not doing and which we haven't done. And so we wanted to understand why and where that was coming from. And it turns out there was a number of claims made by either, like I said, anonymous people or somebody, for example, roommate who told me this sensational story. So just, obviously that's not something that can be really investigated, right? What's your roommate's name? I don't remember. Right. So that's what that's about. I don't appreciate it being directed towards Donald J. Trump because that is completely false. There are all kinds of people that are Epstein files that we had to look at and run down.
Yeah, no, I understand. He is the only sitting president who we're talking about. I do want to move.
So I'm glad that there was like a little bit of pushback, but Dana Bash is the right follow-up question is why couldn't you track these people down? Why is it that you're deleting files if you think that they're totally fine? And in Donald Trump's own words, completely absolve him. Asked about Epstein. We're going to get into another, but I just want to stick here for a second. What is going on? What is going on that this DOJ can tell us, well, we did our best. Now it's time for you guys to try. How is this our responsibility? It seems like that is the public position of the DOJ, that we tried to make sure there were no mentions of victims. But here's an email hotline to let us know if you're in there. Tried to see if there was anything worth prosecuting, but maybe it is your job. These people fundamentally, they hate work. They're incompetent. They don't like doing this. They like the performance. They like going to the Melania movie premiere. They like pretending that they're celebrities. They don't like doing this job. Everyone in the Republican Party has become much like Donald Trump in the fact that they pretend and they put on people who work. You always hear reporters say, well, Donald Trump is always working. 20 yelling at the press and eating Big Macs. He's not going through briefs. He's not working with his team to find out options of working people. No, everyone in the Trump administration is just like Donald Trump. They like the appearance of work, right? Kash Patel likes claiming victory, but they don't do shit. And they're not going to do shit here. Are they not going to track down, reach out to any of the women for further testimony who made allegations against Donald Trump? No, that is your job. But they have said there's nothing worth looking into.
Ask AI. Let's see.
Long story short, the DOJ has just released more than 3 million pre-Epstein. Donald Trump's name appeared in those documents roughly 3,000 times. There's also an email involving Elon Musk and Epstein about visiting the island. There's also stuff about Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and on top of that, there's to be clear that many of those appear to be based rather than confirmed facts. So today, I want to break down all of it, go through it step by step, and do our best to keep things free of spin or bias. And here's the plan. I'm going to ask AI to look at the document drop as a whole and see what it actually tells us. Then we'll have a closer look at the Musk email and talk about what's really there versus what people are reading into it. And finally, I'll send the 6-page FBI allegations list to ChatGPT, what's in the document. Before we get into any of that, I want to be very clear about one thing. Nothing that you're going to hear is expert analysis, not a final authority, and it does not decide what's true or what's simply an experiment to see whether systems like this can cut through a massive emotional age with a complicated topic without turning it into partisan noise. If you want to see more content like this, be sure that you're subscribed to the channels and let me know in the comments what you think about this release. Have you ever opened the news and felt like you're somehow reading about two completely different sides is screaming cover up? The other is calling it a total nothing burger, and they're reacting to that same story. That's honestly why I've been using Ground News, who's sponsoring today's video. Ground News isn't another outlet telling you what to think. It shows you how different outlets are covering the same story all in one place so you can actually see the side by side. You can see what concentrated ownership is. If you follow topics like US politics, tech, let's get to the video. All right, here we go. As always, I'm going to ask it to gather up all the latest information first, just to make sure that it's fully up to date. And once that's complete, we'll get to the first question. To be clear, straightforward, unbiased, no sugarcoating, no fluff, none of that. To start off, I'm going to ask it to look at the document drop as a whole and share its take, just to get a sense of where this conversation is going. All right, here's the answer. This drop was underwhelming. Big volume, lots of noise, very little news. Confirmed the existence of some hidden master list, a secret blackmail up by specific public figures, and it also does not meaningfully disprove long stands about Epstein's social circle. It mostly keeps things exactly where they already were. What does confirm is something simpler and uglier. Epstein was deeply connected to wealthy and powerful people, many of whom were comfortable being around him even after red flags were obvious. That's not new, but the scale of casual association is now harder to deny.
Right there, honey girl.
What it does not provide is hard evidence tying individuals to crime. Mentions, emails, contacts, or flight references are not proof. One from suspected to proven. No new charges, transactional evidence. It also quietly confirms another uncomfortable reality. If there was ever airtight evidence against additional powerful people, it's not in this release. Either it never existed, it was destroyed long ago, or... So the takeaway is boring but important. Epstein was a predator protected by money, access, and institutional failure, not a mystery finally cracked open. This release closes a chapter. It doesn't blow the case open.
That's what ChatGPT says. Okay.
All right, got it. Now, I wouldn't say that's exactly boring, by the way.
Right.
Let alone Elon Musk. I remember he was one of the first people to say out loud that Trump shows up in the Epstein files. Well, now you too, man. So let's ask AI what it thinks about the email where Musk discussed visiting Epstein's island back in 2013. And here's what it said.
Of course, ChatGPT is going to cover for them.
Honestly, that email looks bad optically, but it's not the smoking gun people want it to be. A billionaire asking Epstein about visiting his private island is obviously uncomfortable, especially with what we now know about. Musk didn't need Epstein for access, money, or connections, which makes the decision look tone deaf in hindsight.
No, just
that said, the email by itself doesn't prove wrongdoing. It shows interest in a visit, not participation in anything illegal, and there's no evidence he ever went. Context matters. Epstein actively courted powerful people, and many took meetings or exchanged messages before his crimes were fully exposed. That's not a defense, but it is reality. So, my take is this. It's a bad look and a legit reason for scrutiny, but not evidence of guilt. It shows poor judgment, not criminal behavior. The difference Well, fair enough. I actually agree that email is absolutely not evidence of anything. And honestly, I didn't really see people seriously questioning Musk over Epstein in any major way. So now let's move on to the allegations the DOJ released, then deleted, and then put back again. There's a lot in there and a lot of very sensitive language, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT to avoid certain words, send it the 6-page file, and just allow it to react to what's in there. All right, here we go. I'm going to be very direct but careful because this stuff is explosive and it matters how it's handled. I read the entire 6-page file, including the tables, notes, follow-ups, and internal emails. What it contains is not conclusions or charges, but a raw compilation of allegations, tips, and secondhand reports. Donald Trump's name appears multiple times alongside Jeffrey's involving minors. Calling this nothing or routine paperwork is dishonest. At the same time, the document does not establish guilt. There are no findings, no tested evidence, no legal conclusion. Repetition. Trump's name shows up across different years,
I don't even care anymore. You're a fucking liar. AI is lying and they're complicit and they're covering up for Trump. I want to see this. The body language.
Crisis. You have to thank Jeffrey Epstein that you still have your savings.
Honestly, expect me to believe that that never happened.
You're suggesting I was somewhat depressed, and how could this happen to me?
I'm not saying depressed. I'm saying a moment of awareness of how could I get myself into this situation.
No, I would just say how strange that this happens. It's strange. I'm wearing a jumpsuit and flip-flops.
What color was the jumpsuit?
Brown
jumpsuit.
Yes.
I notice I don't see you in a lot of brown.
No.
Brown jumpsuit and flip-flops.
Flip-flops, yes.
With no access to books, no access to newspapers,
no access to anything.
There's another clip here, but he already told a lie, and he's gonna double down on the lie. I'm going to explain the timeline. So you saw, I'm gonna go
chew that good
through what he just said. He said that he was in September 14th, 2008, in his cell in solitary confinement, and there was this debacle. Wall Street was crashing down. The guard tells him, what do? We don't want to lose our savings. And he has these two collect calls. One with Bear Stearns, in which he has had this huge investment. And the other with JP Morgan, because he said that JP Morgan was thinking about buying Bear Stearns at the time and bailing out Bear Stearns with the help of the Federal Reserve and the Treasury. That actually happened. JP Morgan actually ended up buying and bailing out Bear Stearns. But there's a problem with the timeline. I told you to remember that Jeffrey.
This is so disturbing. All of it. So fucking disturbing.
Do you understand what you're looking at right here? Like, do you understand what this picture is? Well, I guess it's just time to start going through some of these, huh? Hey, Jesse, why do you think you are most qualified to do this? I've been telling people forever that the world is run by an elite group of people who work there. And how many times do you think I've made the joke about eating babies? You know, like, oh, is that a baby chicken? You know, like, but not the chicken part. Like, oh, they kill them and eat them. Yeah. Kill them and eat them. Doesn't that seem a little bit far-fetched, Jesse on Fire? It does. I don't see how any reasonable person would have seen what I've seen. You know what I mean? But you know, as we get into the files today, and we see that they the feds really they made one big they missed one. They missed a big one. And we'll get to that shortly. But let's just jump right in. Okay. So who sent that guy? Oh, by the way, his name, the person whose file, you know, the Berenstein Bear, like the Berenstein Bears. That Berenstein sounds pretty close, right? Files. So who sent Berenstein? I give you permission to kill him. So why would this be blacked out? A quote, I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently with fill in the, you know,
they're
blacked out.
suppressing all of this.
He lied to you and he lied to me. Oh, okay. So no reason for us to expect to see, you know, who that is. Now, later in the video, I'm going to show you a part of a documentary that I've watched many times. And it is very eye-opening, especially as it relates to this. But I need to put some space between this and that because that's probably going to be the thing most likely to, you know, get us banged here. But nonetheless, you should definitely look for that if you care about understanding what level of evil that we're dealing with. We'll also look at some videos of the Berenstein Bear. And yeah, so we're just going to go through these. And oh my God. You mean to tell me this person was a big fan of children? I don't believe it, says Milo. Hilarious. Yeah, this face doesn't scream I would prefer to take a 7-year-old to go get cotton candy than to take a full-grown female to a hotel to see what she looks like underneath her clothes. What? Creep. Creep. Now, Alex Jones has a take right here from yesterday. I haven't even gotten into what he's saying, and I actually haven't even listened to this, but I want to give it a little bit of a look here because, as you would anticipate, if you know how I roll, you're going to find out some new things in this video that you did not know yet about people who were involved in this, crimes that they committed, and things that literally no one else has found yet. Okay. But I do owe my one more integration this month, and it's the end of the month. And listen, I live up to the agreements that I make. And now, by the way, if you guys would like to support my channel, it would be incredible if you watch this integration for Prize Picks, because the Super Bowl is coming up and it would be an incredible time for you to join it, and it would be very helpful to me. Now, very important note also is that I have some very serious stuff that is going to be coming out over the next week. And I think it is very that you will not see it if you are not actively subscribed to my channel and you have not actively rung the bell and put all notifications, because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if you're subscribed. Sometimes it won't show it. And if you're not subscribed, I have tons of videos. They literally will not show you unless you go to my channel and look for them. And I have a feeling that the stuff I'm going to put out is going to fall squarely in that category. So usually I'm just like, help me out. In this case, I'm trying to help you out. I'm really asking everybody, please like this video because it's important that people see this. Oh, and obviously we have like a half dozen more of these posts to look at, but I'll just read you one line from the next one that we are going to look at when we come back. He was on the boat where he witnessed young tadpoles, but you know, the little ones that need to nurse to be able to eat, you know, like you need to feed them formula. And they were being limbs were being removed and then, like made them smaller by their, remains being put into other containers. Their intestines and individuals were eating the feces from the intestines. And then right below that, it has one of the most prominent names in the history of America committing a grape on a boy. So this is just the tip of the iceberg for when we come back. So stick around. It's NFL time, and that means it's time for you to join Prize Picks. I don't understand what's daily fantasy. I'll explain that later. What you need to know right this second is that if you deposit $5 and put it in play, they will guarantee give you a free $50 regardless of whether or not you win with that $5 entry fee. Wait, I deposit $5 regardless of whether I win. Yes, that's correct. So that'd be a 10x return guaranteed. Yeah, that's correct. So aside from $50 free, well, you get to play the best daily fantasy game on the entire internet. Talk to me like a child and explain to me how to play. Prize Picks could not make this game more simple. You're going to pick which sport you want to play, and then you're going to start picking players that you're going to add to your roster. Then we're going to decide whether they're going to get more or less than the stat line provided by Prize Picks. We're going Shedeur Sanders, and we're going more because we are eternal optimists. Let's say you want to start small and you put $5 in play on your first roster. You can win up to $187.50. But if you're a big baller and you want to put, let's say, $50 in play, you can win up to $1,875. But let's say you are a big wallet gangster and you want to put $500 into a single roster. You can win up to $18,750 if all of your players deliver. Now, we also got some new features coming in with this new football season, and you're going to be able to play the same player up to 3 times with 3 different stat lines if you want. It's already live on Major League Baseball and WNBA. When you go to Prize Picks, you use the link in the description and you sign up and you use promo code JesseOnFire. You are going to get a free $50 once you put $5 in play. Use the link in the description, sign up using promo code JesseOnFire, put in $5 in play, and get your free $50 back. That's a 10x return. You are welcome. I love all of you guys. Let's go. Well, as a thank you to you guys for sticking it through the ad and going and signing up for Prize Picks, because I know you guys did that, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here and show you this because I know you guys are going to definitely want to see this. As promised, it says, thanks. This is New York City detectives. Realize Bush grape dim. It says, I'd like to add, this is from another detective to them. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, witnessed African-American males having, with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during the process. That's weird. They were black. Listen, they were black and the girls were blonde, and you're not going to believe this. They couldn't take it. I just realized I really hope that I'm making a joke about adult blonde females. Okay. Forget it. I even said that. Because this is not saying anything about kids. It says with blonde females. And if you use the term sex, I assume you're talking about grown-ups. Although I guess you can't take that for granted when you're talking about these demented fucks. He says he was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar, but it left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed two being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from the intestines. And he was also graped by George Bush Sr.
Like, what the fuck did he just say?
No big deal, guys. No big deal. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, the creator of The Pundit. I already covered this one. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm saying the same things again because I can't find the clip. But I know I said that. So if you guys see me and I have some like another time of me saying that, that would be weird. But this just in. The Berenstein Bear is chasing after some young inside of his home. So take a look at that. Oh, real quick side note though, before we look at this video is the following. Check this out. Okay. If you do not follow me on X, you should definitely change that because as you can see right here at the bottom of the screen is a post that I made a couple hours ago, and you can read it because I can't say these things, and I certainly cannot even come close to showing you the photograph.
You can't even speak about what.
So you should go follow me on X and go look at this
talk
post
about
because
what is in these files without being completely censored.
It is
completely censored.
Very disturbing. I'm actually going to hide you guys or hide.
It's sad.
I can't believe they missed that, dude.
It's sad.
Because they said, so basically the Fed said that they were going to redact anything that depicted and obvious. They just alluded to the fact pretty directly that they have snuff films and they were getting rid of that. I have a feeling, honest to God, that what was actually going on with these files is that what they found in them was so horrifying that they this is something different than we thought. It's like just like imagine if you're somebody who's been like Epstein files, and then you get into government and you're like, let me take a look, and you take a look, and while you thought you were going to just be exposing elites for doing stuff that they shouldn't with the little ones, what you actually find is that the entire world does not work the way that you thought it did, and it's actually run by people who chop little things. You might give it a boob or a formula, they might barbecue it, and then I'm not for real.
This is devastating.
These are people where if they turned out to be that,
devastating,
it breaks civilization as far as our country is concerned, because how could you ever trust an institution if you found out that someone that like that barbecued one, ate it? You think I'm joking? You think it's just coming from that? Just wait until you see the documentary. Okay, so now let's listen to Alex Jones's thoughts. Oh, and I know that the big hot topic is the stuff that came out about the big guy, the president of the United States. And one thing that I'm just going to put it like this. I have less than the idea that I would defend a person that's written in these files and is attributed to him. The idea that I would defend a person related to that is laughable. But you know what else? I am also not stupid enough to take anything that is written about him after he had been elected just at face value if there is not supporting evidence, because bottom line is Think about who was the FBI during this entire process,
I don't
right?
care.
Like from 2016 until just arch enemies of his.
No,
Absolute arch
no,
enemies.
they're
You know what
not
I
enemies.
noticed?
It's just
Every
an
single
act.
time that I saw
Jesse.
and I looked at something that was written about him,
Jesse.
they
Jesse, they are not arch enemies. All an act. It's all an act. It's all a show. The world is a stage, and they're all players. They're all actors. They're all just acting their roles. Just to divide and conquer. That's all they're doing, is trying to divide us to one party or the other. It's not about actually like, it's not about they're his arch enemy. No. It was all just a show to divide us to one side or the other. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Nothing more to it than that. They're not his arch enemies. They're his buddies. They're all buddies.
always in the documents, it calls him president.
I agree with that, Jeff.
Not Donald, calls him president, which means it's after he got elected, which means the information, came in when people who are way more likely, I mean, you can get mad at me if you want, if you think that like this is it's not. If he did that, if there are then stuff written down on a piece of paper that could actually was put there by people that we know for 100% sure arch enemies and would have done anything to discredit him and get him removed.
No, I don't.
Okay, like calls him president, whatever, and there's nothing else to support it. I am not willing to throw him down the river for that when I see nothing else to support it. I'm not at a place where I'm going to go, okay, yeah, that's what he is.
I am.
Oh yeah, who did these things?
He's definitely a pedophile.
Okay, so here I'm actually almost out of time here with Gabrielle. There's plenty more for you guys coming, but let's look at the video of him.
There's like 4 or 5 little kids just chasing him around, like fucking gross, creepy, fucking creepy.
Now, let me tell you why this is so demented. Because listen, if you have an objective eye and you're not an idiot, you can tell this seems to be young girls.
If you have an objective eye and you're not an idiot, which I didn't think you were, Jesse, you would see that this is all a stage. They're all just actors, and they're all just trying to pit us against one another. They're not his arch enemies. They're all buddies. They're all in on it together. They're all covering for each other.
It appears to be a situation where he's like, they're like kids that are like playing is how it looks, right? And that's probably what it was. And the problem with that is, think about that. When does a guy his age run around chasing kids around the kitchen like that when he doesn't have kids? It's when he's at someone else's house and those are their kids. And he's like, oh, Uncle Jay's here. And he's jumping around and they're playing. And the friend of which is, you don't understand that like he's pretending that he wants to play with them, while in actuality, if you left him alone with them for 10 minutes, he would destroy their lives.
In actuality, the reality of it, which is sad to say, is that whoever the parents of these children are probably took some money from Jeffrey. Oh, shit. Who's this?
Hi, this is Pix Taxi.
Hey.
Hi, I just want to make sure I got the right address. You did say 18 Smithville Road, right?
Yes.
Okay, because he's on his way up to do those calls that I told you about.
Okay.
Right now, and I gave him your delivery to pick up.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure that I didn't write down the wrong address, because he doesn't know where 18 would be, because we pick up at 8 all the time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's I wish I could drive it, or I wish I had a light outside when he does pull up, but my mailbox is right by my front door, and yeah, it's right across from a big like empty yard where there's a mechanic that works over there. So he'll see a bunch of vehicles. I have a really big tree in the yard. There's no vehicles, but just a big tree. And yeah, 18. I mean, if you call me when it's on the way out, I can go outside, so he won't miss me.
What was I going to say? And
Yeah, right behind Gilman's Auto. Depending if he what road he takes, like if he comes up the big hill, if he's coming from Dixfield and he comes up the first left-hand turn, I'm almost at the end on the bottom street. But I mean, I'm before the big garage, the parking lot where they park for the gym. But if he takes the other turn, then it's the second or third house on the left. Like it's the second house, but it's the third building because of the big garage. Okay.
So you're right before the garage. If you're coming up from past the garage in the front, right?
Yeah, I'm after the garage. Like if you go past the Gilman's Auto and then turn left, I'll be 2 houses after the garage that's on the left.
Okay.
But if you call me back, I'll make sure he.
Okay, yeah, I have to call you and let you know when your delivery is on the way anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Super weird. So weird, man. Guys, Mr. Smooth that got literally got all of these people to compromise themselves. It is hilarious, man. Oh, here's another one.
Hilarious.
This one says Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz and families, for example, Jared Kushner says Dershowitz. Well, it says Dershowitz told CHS that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence. CHS believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad, and CHS still continues communicate occasionally with Dershowitz. Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. Tells Acosta Epstein belonged to both
Finance.
U.S. and
he had a new video.
allied.
Let's see what he's got to say. Homes and Finance.
I wish this was some sort of a joke. We're going to analyze that in detail, but there's a couple things about here. For example, beyond disgusted that Peter Attia, MD, a man who I have followed for years and genuinely looked up to, is in the Epstein files. Over 1,000.
President Trump just passed 1 year in office, so I think it's time we give him a report card. One thing that drives me crazy is how bad the news coverage is on Trump. If you watch MSNBC, everything he does is horrible.
It is horrible.
If you watch Fox News, everything's brilliant. Here's where I'm coming from. If you watch my channel, you already know that I publicly endorsed Trump during the last election. Since he's been called him out about them. So I want to take a more measured approach. I'm going to give you 5 things I think are problematic and 5 things that I like that Trump is doing. And then we're going to give Donald Trump a grade. And I want to do this together. Watch this video all the way through and then comment down below your grade for Donald Trump.
He gets a fucking F. I give him a fucking F. Get him the fuck out of there. No. He gets a fucking F. Get him out of there. He has to go.
Number 1, lowest congressional record in modern history. I want to start with Congress because this directly reflects good at working with Congress to get bills passed.
And this year, Congress sent over only 38 bills to President Trump to sign into law, the lowest for a first year of a presidential term in modern history.
I hate that we're all being
Before we
ran
get
by
into the deep
these
stuff, let's just talk.
fucking
Let's
satanic
give some basics or
pedophiles.
some things I want to do inquire from the others.
So disturbing.
Walk me through this the time at the math, and this was in the late 90s. So they're not going to hear me on this part, right? We're going to do it both ways.
It will not be on the video, but we do have it recorded.
Fine. Remember, when you're answering on these questions, I'm not in the shot, and they're never going to hear my voice. So a little bit, you got to repeat in your answer, you got to repeat what my question was.
Oh,
A little
right.
bit.
Okay.
Santa Fe Institute. Why, when you're at the top of your game on Wall Street, do you decide to finance, which was at the time, or endow, or become the donor or sponsor, however you want to say it, for what was considered the most cutting edge group of mathematicians in the world? Action.
So Santa Fe Institute in the late 80s, early 90s, I was interested, I was on the board of Rockefeller. So that starts,
you are.
Rockefeller it's university
Fucking course you are.
formed by John D. Rockefeller to sort of give back to the community,
I've
side
never
of
seen any
Manhattan.
of this. I didn't even see
Except
Bannon's
it was
interview with
old.
them.
It was
None of
sort
that.
of old fashioned. They were talking about medicine
My doggies.
and
I gotta go get
medicine
the other
by
doggies.
itself
Okay,
was again
yeah.
subject to the ideas of science. They were trying to use science to find cures for disease. And I said, no, we need to do something different. We need to start interdisciplinary work. In most,
How did a schmuck like you get on the board of Rockefeller? What year was that?
I don't remember, late, I think 89 or 91.
So that's one of the most prestigious research places in the world, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How did a guy like you get on the board of a blue blood, internationally known, hard research, Nobel Prize winners all over the place? How did
He
they
just
pick
ordered pizza for us.
a
Okay.
guy like you, a trader from, or basically some guy from Bear Stearns?
I was asked to be on the board of Rockefeller.
Oh, this shit's
And I think it was,
going
I was on the board of Rockefeller as a money manager
These
who
poor
said
kids.
Rockefeller needs someone with financial expertise because the university is growing and there's lots of new things. You have to, again, we go back to the original discussion the last time. Up until the mid 80s or sort of mid 70s, the most important, if you were Rockefeller, you already were considered to be brilliant. If you were head of general, it was your reputation. It was who you knew, who your family was, what was your. And then in the mid 70s, basically, if you remember, you calculator. It was very advanced in those days to have a Texas Instrument calculator, where in the numbers, it would multiply for you to do square roots. And now we had a calculator. It was already advanced on Wall Street. A simple
I
calculator.
can't even stand watching this man speak.
The most important parts of business to calculations. So it's not only mathematics, but it's things that calculated. Reputation couldn't be calculated. I could give you a reputation scale of 8. What does it mean to have a measurement of your reputation later? But places like Rockefeller needed someone to say, look, we're in a world where numbers and the numbers of companies, portfolio management, balanced, it was going to be statistical. Jeffrey, could you come on the board? Potentially sit on the finance committee.
My pretty dog.
Nancy Kissinger and a bunch of other. And David Rockefeller and I got along very well. He was this unbelievable human being. Respectful to everyone. He introduced his driver as his colleague.
I used
not
to
his driver.
respect
He would never say,
Steve
this is my
Bannon. I
driver.
did.
He said, it's my colleague. And David started to explain
On
to
and
me
on.
world politics. So David would say, Jeffrey, money is going to
All
be
these
sort of the
people
most
make
important
me
thing.
fucking
People don't
cringe.
understand money. You seem to have this
Part of my
knack
fucking inside.
for money. I said to David, tell me
Get
what
a
was the
Mr.
worst
Bones
and the best part of your life? So David said, when I grew up, everyone knew I was a Rockefeller. They didn't know that my father told me he would not leave me a dime,
The boys, they want to come in.
no money. But every time we went out to eat, me and my 5 friends at school, they would leave me the bill. They would make me to pick up the check
Right there, Cox.
because I was a Rockefeller. And I said, I was chairman of Chase Bank. And he said, I remember like it was yesterday, one of the headlines in Time magazine said, David, please fire yourself. So he thought that there was a world that existed that would be a combination of both politics and business and leadership. What do I mean? He formed something called the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission is some spooky stuff. People said it was some of the people that, the Illuminati, there's some mystery about it, people that ran the world. It was politicians, but David said most countries, the politicians get elected for 4 years or 8 years, separate from the royal families in England or in the Middle East. someone's there for 4 years and then they're not there
Look
anymore.
at your brother.
The most important people to have stability and consistency would be businessmen. So he formed this trilateral commission of businessmen and politicians from 3 major continents, the North Americans, the Europeans, and the Asians. So he said to me, would you like to be on the Trilateral Commission? Now, I was 30 years old, 32 years old. I said, great. And he said, well, you have to fill out this application so they have your bio. And I looked at the list of people, and it was Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, Paul Volcker, every great leader in America, the Asians, the Japanese, and with a very long description of their history. And they asked me to fill in what I would like to have written. And I wrote Jeffrey Epstein, comma, just a good kid, which I thought was funny. Nobody else did. So answer to your question, at that time, I recognized around the world that monies and currencies were not, it was only numbers. So numbers get to the fact that it was bad thinking. It's numbers are very good.
Are most people even on Trilateral Commission when you economically illiterate?
Most political leaders don't come out of a background of finance. Most political leaders come out of a background of being popular. So in some of the countries, in some of the African countries, for example, they might have been a military person. They were a general. In some of the African countries, they might have been a disc jockey. Or in our country, they would have been an actor. The knowledge of money isn't, they don't have expertise. They have no degrees in finance. They really, and this is one of the major problems.
What I mean,
Their
no
expertise,
arrest.
if they have any financial knowledge, is of their own checking account or bank account and filling in their own taxes. So many world leaders who don't really have a financial underpinning make fundamental errors when it comes to money on a country or institutional level. Let me give you an example. If you, Mr. Bannon, if I said your assets increased last year, you'd say, that sounds pretty good. And I said, what does that mean to you? You'd say, well, I have more money. I guess I'm wealthier. I'd say, yes. And if your debt increased, would you feel wealthier or poorer? You'd say, well, I don't want to have increased debt. I don't like the idea of that sound, increased debt. Now, that and world leaders understand when their assets go up there. However, institutions.
The auto worker at the Ford F-150 plant wasn't lying.
So for people who didn't see, you're going to show it? Okay.
Pedophile protected in Michigan.
No, I wasn't sure you were going to show the clip. I was just going to say what you're referring to that happened at the Ford factory. So this is Trump at the Ford plant, or at a Ford plant. And apparently this is how he's going to deal with this heckler. And the heckler calls him pedophile protector.
Mm-hmm.
And he is such that the president of the United States can't handle just a heckler and let it go. He has to burst out and tell this guy to fuck off. The heckler then does. In response to a heckler, only not even
You
accusing
are
him
not
of being
only a
just a
pedophile
pedophile
protector,
protector.
you
But
are a
apparently that in and
pedophile.
of itself, I guess that hit a nerve. Right? Or is that to me, that's the kind of thing he's so upset about if it were true.
Well, that's the thing that I found so perplexing about his reaction in such a volatile way. It's one thing if he called him a pedophile and Trump just lost it. He's like, I'm not a pet. Like it instinctively would say, like, I'm totally not a pedophile. I didn't do any of that stuff. But he reacted that way to being called a pedophile protector.
Exactly.
Which he clearly is. He's a pedophile.
More so story. Yes.
Well, not exactly. It's coming to that, but I want people to remember that this was. I hope you're getting my stuff, Colin, because I know that the Robert Morris clip is quick. So if you've got that, just let's get that up there so people can see. So as I said, Robert, his spiritual advisor. This is Trump. Well,
who just got
who's going to be Trump's spiritual
pedophilia.
advisor? You know.
That's absurd that he even would have a spiritual advisor. He has no
6 months. He got 6 months in prison.
The token for that matter. But so he was convicted. He was convicted of sexual abuse of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Nice.
6 months in prison.
6 months.
You want to talk about a sweetheart deal? Well, if he goes to a regular prison, he might not last 6 months, and may that be so.
Spiritual advisor.
And this won't be this.
These pedophiles are using Jesus.
What's behind us? What does this feel like?
Against their pedophilia.
Well, so that was his accuser. And
Correct.
so given that she's an adult, clearly an adult, this for a very long time is what that says to me. That's just, yeah.
Fucking
But doesn't it also say, and one of the reasons why so few people end up coming forward is that you put your life on the line,
maybe
and then they get a slap on the wrist. This guy was
when you know the right people or have the right information on people.
Well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point about climbing the ladder. She spent her entire life trying to do this.
Come here.
I think it's
it
is beyond insane how
let's get one sit in my lap. Come on.
anyone who thinks we have don't. We have a tiered justice system. That's the way I would describe it.
Easy, baby.
We have a tiered justice
Okay,
system.
biscuit.
For the commoners,
Hey, stop.
not for people with power.
Yeah, biscuit.
People with power
Right
are
now.
able to walk away. And even though this
Don't
lady
be so
Cindy,
jealous.
who
Stop
was his accuser, can say that I can move on now with my life.
Leave him alone. What are you doing?
But he took so much from her.
Boys, no.
She was 12 years old.
Stop.
That ruins people's lives. It ruins their lives.
Completely. And I can only hope that there is some justice coming behind those prison walls. But we all know he's probably going to get stuck in a. So.
Or maybe he'll get lucky and they'll just fly him back to Epstein's Island and he could be there with Epstein. Who knows?
You never know. But I bring this up because now we're going to transition into a story that I don't see anybody covering, and that is Sasha Riley. Now,
I forwarded this to you because Peter, you didn't know of this.
no, I haven't been paying as close of attention upon it. We're going to try to get Sean Atwood on the podcast, guys. We're working on that as we speak. This is a very disturbing audio, so I want you.
Wait, I don't know that we can play this without getting like serious
No, we
demonetization.
can play audio. You can't play video. But this is just be aware. Just be aware that you're going to hear some things that you're not going to like. So this is Sasha Riley talking about his experience with Jeffrey Epstein.
But I can tell you that some of them are extraordinarily horrible.
Colin, I need you to do the first video first. This is the second video. You got to let me know that this is not the right one. This is the first video. That's the second video. Here we go.
To kind of recap what we were just talking about, one of the first memories that seared itself into my consciousness because of being what I perceived as a threat as a child was kill a litter of puppies. He did it in a variety of ways. As I stood there, they made me stand there and would harm or kill the puppy and then look to see what my reaction was. And in my child's brain, that registered because I viewed him as somebody more dangerous than my parents. And I knew that they would hurt me. So in my ability to reason, my reasoning was if they were worse people than my parents, that they were somebody that might kill me. So that is why he was so. That's why I
You like them? You like those trees?
most of the stuff I just tried to forget. But with him, with Andy, and with Jim, I remembered them because the truth is they scared me.
Yeah.
Do we know who
Okay, so I'm
Andy
gonna
or Jim
summarize.
are?
I'm not sure who they are. I'm honestly not sure.
So basically, Trump killed puppies, is what he said.
Yeah, I hope he
Just to
doesn't
see
say how.
his- Just to see his reaction and to do that in front of this then 12-year-old child.
Well, that's the thing that again, when people talk about things like Pizzagate and Seth Rich and all of these people, is that there is a dark side of society that people just don't want to know about. That's why
there's
people
gravity.
are very defensive and they don't want to hear it. And part of the reason they don't want to hear it is because the depths of which this goes is very deep and very disturbing. When people have that much wealth and that much power, they basically want to test the limits in terms of how far they can take things. That's basically what it's about. It's not about whether or not people want to have relations with children or whether they want to traffic children. This is exciting. This sounds interesting. It's not my cup of tea, like spirit cooking, but what the hell? Gross. No one's going to touch me. I'm above reproach. So why not? Give it a try. I could at least say that I did it. It's not jumping out of an airplane, but in their mind, that's, it's the equivalent for what a normal person would consider living dangerously. This is how they want to live dangerously. They want to harm people. They want to harm puppies. Oh boy, let me tell you, I would make it a vendetta to get him because of that. That alone is that's execution worthy as far as I'm concerned.
And we need to be clear that these audios have not been authenticated and verified and all that in a court of law, right? Like we're just playing.
Just speculating.
Yeah.
We had discussed that wasn't recorded. So with Trump, when Trump murdered the puppies and forced you to watch, that was your first remembrance of Trump. And had Trump sexually assaulted and tortured you already?
Maybe, but I don't recall. I think what happened, and I'm relatively certain, but I think that was the precursor to him sexually assaulting.
So
I think that was in an effort to make the experiences as brutal as possible for me. That was the same kind of MO that was used with Patricia later on.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed to be that he would use his imagination as such to try to figure out what way would be the most traumatic, to make the most traumatic experience to destroy somebody, kind of traumatize somebody to the maximum potential possible. That was the first template of that was watching him kill those puppies. And then the next higher order of that, and I couldn't tell you exactly how much time passed between, but I would say likely a couple of years or at least a year later, before the incidents with Patricia.
I don't know how any of these fucking people sleep at night. I'm going to have a hard time sleeping. This is so fucking disturbing.
At that point, I had already, in my mind, I had already thought there's no way I'm going to live through this anyway. They're just going to torture me to death anyway. So I might as well do everything I can.
Okay. And so with the incident with Patricia, then recapping, they told you to go into another room with Patricia. There was film. They were filming.
No.
In such a
What
case.
happened with me and Patricia, my dad was somebody I had been trafficked with her previously.
Yeah.
But she and I were as close to being friends as you could be. We were, in the same boat as far as, our station in life. So we had kind of become friends, and she ran up to me, and I can remember she's saying, "Hey, come go with me." And my dad said, no, it's okay. You guys go off and have fun. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you can go just have fun. You're an adult now. And I can remember thinking in my mind, I was wondering, next, and the only thing that I knew of really of being an adult was my dad. and I knew that he didn't go to these parties and get assaulted. So in my mind, you know, I thought, well, maybe that part of my life is over.
The fact that it's his father that introduced him to this world.
A lot of these kids were financial. So what I would imagine happens is that Trump or Jeffrey Epstein and people that have resources, they find financially struggling people that are vulnerable, people that maybe they're addicts, maybe the situation is, and they offer to help them. And in order to help them, we're going to, we'll even take your kid off your hands so you don't have to worry about caring for them. I would think that it's a lot of the predators taking advantage of people that are sick, desperate, whatever it is. And by the way, the dad that he's referring to, I believe to this story, would be whoever it was that his parents actually, not his actual father. I think because there was something about he got sold early on and then to a foster parent, so I don't know that the person he's actually saying his dad was his actual father.
Well, I'm not saying that this was Mar-a-Lago, but what I could tell you guys as a former South Florida resident, and I lived 20 minutes from Mar-a-Lago for 7 years when I was living in Delray Beach, Florida. The surrounding areas outside of Palm, they're very working class, if not outright poor and not so safe. And so it's not that hard to just go out into the community and try to find somebody or some children. It's just not that hard. And this is why being a parent is such an important job. And in this day and age, we kind of forget that in many ways.
Well, no, I don't, because I am a parent and it's my job, but I do understand that a lot of people don't respect it as much.
That's true. But in the case of Sasha Riley, he was betrayed by his own father.
Yes.
Maybe his mother too. I don't know. But whatever the case is, his father clearly groomed him into this world.
Someone sold him and then somebody or groomed him.
But anyway, we left. We wound up going into the farmhouse. We went into the room, not at the behest of anybody else. She wanted to have sex with me because she knew I wouldn't hurt her. Mm-hmm. I believe, I wouldn't swear to this part, but I am relatively certain she and I had already made some movies off, not at the farm, but at a shoot. But I didn't have sex in a way that brutalized people, because I kind of knew how that felt. So it was a matter of her kind of choosing somebody to try to go have sex with. So she wouldn't be placing her life in danger by having sex with one of these rich guys. So we went in and started having sex. This was not in front of anybody. It wasn't filmed that I know of. It was just, we kind of, if we were going to have the opportunity to go have sex with somebody, we were going to go have sex with each other, because that, in that instance, neither of that room, after some period of time, they busted in 6, 5, 6, 8, maybe people. At least one of them.
No, Maine is so cold. In Maine right now, man.
But then they assaulted her with me at gunpoint, and then they killed her in front of me and said, "That's what's going to happen to you if you don't do everything the next person that walks in this room what they want."
Do you think they knew Trump was going to walk in the room? Do you think they had premeditated that Trump would walk in the room next?
Of course.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was just part of the experience for him, to traumatize me. And for all I know, he was watching through I don't know about that.
So like an escalation from the puppies.
Yes.
Okay. So Trump would traumatize you first and then sexually assault you. Whereas the incident with when Trump murdered the puppies and forced you to watch. And then the incident when
Well.
No.
There's that.
When you hear stories about, like I said, like things like Pizzagate, spirit cooking, Seth Rich, again, third rails that you're not supposed to address. What you have to remember is that always pay attention to the reaction. If the reaction is considerably volatile, because if it was nothing, then they wouldn't care. So that's why
it's too random, and he's too like clear about what he's not clear about. You know what I mean? Like he knows what he does. And again, I know that if you were asking me to recount things that happened to me between the ages of, let's say, 9 and 12, that's choppy. That's choppy. Plus, you have to account for all the trauma that happened to him since and whatever stuff. But it definitely does not sound fabricated.
No.
And he doesn't sound unclear about what he knows he saw. And he seems very credible to me.
Yep.
So again, but I do know that memories are fluid and that it's not clear necessarily.
It
But
definitely, yeah, I definitely agree. And I also think that it's, for some people, they don't know what to do. Again, that's why this is recorded. This guy may be in hiding. There's no question that there are very disturbed people out there. I've been around disturbed people. Like, this is not years and years ago. This is probably, I would say 2013, maybe 2014, somewhere around there. I was trying to attend in West Palm Beach. And I end up going into this room. And in the meantime, I think it was like a Thursday night, and Thursday night football was on for the game. And the next thing you know, I'm in this room, and it looks like these people have money and are fairly affluent. It just seemed to be a little too familiar, was what I was noticing. And then the next thing you know, you notice that people were like touching each other and making out and things like that. And I'm thinking, okay, well, where the hell am I? What is this? And I go to the hostess and I say, is this like a special swingers party? I'm like, really? Just like in the middle of a restaurant? Like this goes on here? And it's like, yeah, it's Palm Beach. This is how people are here.
that happens in Miami Beach. It happens in a lot of places.
Yeah, it happens in places with money and influence. That's where it happens. So to say that there are people that end up in abusive situations, violent situations, and murderous situations, yeah, there's a reason why they don't want this stuff to come out.
Right.
Because it's very possible that Epstein had a kill switch if he was ever taken out.
That's why I have always questioned whether or not he's actually dead.
Correct.
Because it did not make sense to me that someone that has that much goods on that many people wouldn't have a kill switch. Therefore, I thought, okay, if he's really dead, then we'd be seeing everything.
Yeah. Maybe
we'd be watching like the Clinton porn channel 24/7 if he would. That's why I'd be shocked if he weren't dead, because then it would explain why we haven't seen all the stuff that we would see.
So disturbing, dude. So fucking disturbing.
Do want to get you right back into your headlines here at this hour as we take a live look over the Capitol building in D.C. You can see right there on your screen. And with the partial government shutdown now in day 2, it appears likely that it will last until at least Tuesday. A senior House Republican telling Fox's Chad Pergram the House will not bill until Tuesday, and its passage is contingent on the House aligning with the Senate. House Speaker Mike Johnson appeared on Fox News Sunday earlier on today.
We'll have a lot of conversations to have with individual Republican members over the next 24 hours or so. We'll get all this done by Tuesday, I'm convinced. We do have to do it by way of a rule process, which will be probably on our own. I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with this, though. Remember, the bills that have already been passed, we're going to do it again. It's a formality at this point. The Homeland Security bill is important, and we have important negotiations. The president wants to turn down the volume, so to speak, and make sure this is done in an appropriate way. What a great step it was to put Tom Homan in charge of the situation in Minneapolis and Minnesota. He has 40 years experience. He's brought a steady hand to the wheel, and all that is to be applauded. And he himself has already acknowledged to Leader Schumer in the Senate, and I'm sure he'll say the same to House Democrats, norms and the processes are fine with them. For example, we want body cameras on agents. In fact, in the bill that the Democrats are currently rejecting, $1 billion into that legislation to allow for that. So, look, I think there's some healthy conversation that'll be had over the next couple of days, and I look forward to that.
And that was there as he spoke on Fox News Sunday. Now, that shutdown clock on the bottom right-hand side of your screen does continue to run here. You can see it's at 1 day, 14 hours, 3 minutes, and today. But that has now been moved to tomorrow, and House Republicans believe they do have the votes to pass the bill. President Trump and Democrats carving out Homeland Security funding, allowing Congress to debate new restrictions on federal immigration reform. Now, under the compromise, Homeland Security funding will continue at current levels for about 2 weeks. That'll give Republicans time to consider unmasked agents require additional warrants and allow local authorities incidents. The funding bill passed the Senate late Friday by a vote of 71 to 29, and the government will remain partially shut down until the House can pass the bill. So what does all this mean? I do want to bring in an expert to help break all of this down for us. Ed Jenkins is a professor of practice and accounting at Live. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Josh. It's great to be with you.
And first off, the big question I want to ask is kind of an overarching question here as we go in reverse. Can you explain exactly what a federal government shutdown is, but also how a partial shutdown kind of differs from it?
I sure can. So a shutdown, of course, occurs whenever the government no longer has congressional authority to continue spending money or operating. So that, of course, happens when Congress is unable to gain consensus on tax or revenue bills and spending appropriations bills. So that's going to bring us to a full shutdown if we don't pass any of the appropriations bills. We have passed 6 of them so far, and we have 6 on the table now. And as you mentioned, and Speaker Johnson mentioned, we have a deal on the table to pass the 5 additional appropriations bills plus the Homeland Security extension for 2 weeks. So that'll give us a partial shutdown for a couple of days. In terms of how significant that is, again, it's only a few days, so hopefully there isn't a significant gross domestic product impact and a limited impact on people's lives.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Are people out there, the average American, are they going to feel any sort of impacts this weekend or in the coming days if this continues?
Well, as the speaker mentioned, they're planning on passing the 5 bills plus the extension for Homeland Security on Tuesday. So not a lot is going to happen. And many of those departments have accepted employees, as well as employees who have to come to work anyway, even though they're not getting paid. So I don't anticipate a substantial impact on folks' lives from the day or 2 or maybe 3 that we suffer here. And remember, 5 or 6 of the appropriations bills are already enacted. So it's only for those 6 that have yet to be enacted.
A lot of this, obviously, about the Department of Homeland Security and the situation that's playing out there over in Minneapolis. Wanted to ask what happens and get your take here if there isn't an agreement reached between the Democrats and Republicans on the DHS funding in 2 weeks.
Well, that'll be interesting. Hopefully the other 5 bills will pass and we'll have all those in place. If Homeland Security, however, doesn't come or is not enacted, there are a number of departments that will suffer a shutdown. Now, remember, many of the Homeland Security employees are accepted employees, so they'll still continue to work and continue to be paid. A number of them have to work and unfortunately not get paid. And then some will be furloughed. But you have to think about, well, what are the departments within Homeland Security that are going to be affected? And those departments include ones like Custom and Border Protection. They include Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, which we were just talking about on the show. The TSA, and that's one that has a significant impact on folks right away because, hey, it could clog the airports if things don't run smoothly. And we experienced that in the fall, where while those workers still continue to have to work, getting them to work because they may choose to maybe be sick that day can be a bit of a challenge. Secret Service is in here as well, as is the Coast Guard. So our maritime safety is at risk here. But again, many of these employees are going to be accepted. We also have in this piece of the budget, FEMA. And so FEMA could be a significant issue, particularly as here on the East Coast, we're experiencing some volatile weather, at least in the Southeast. But if there are any natural disasters, FEMA could be impacted. However, they have some reserves kind of held back that they could continue to operate. You've got, immigration. And so those services for citizenship may be impacted. The one that gives me a little bit of insecurity our cyber security agency. They're the ones that keep us, safe from cyber threats, which are pretty much constant at this point. The Inspector General will likely be furloughed in their office. And then there are a couple of other things like Federal Protective Service for the federal buildings. And another one that scares me a little bit is Intelligence Analysis and Situational Awareness, who's responsible for supporting intelligence integration and information sharing. So there are a couple of pieces of the Homeland Security funding that are a little bit scary to resolve fairly quickly.
I wanted to ask because we've seen government shutdowns happening. I feel as though I'm reporting on it constantly every few months here. Are these government shutdowns becoming more and more common? Are we just hearing about them more? What is the situation there?
Cooper, come out here and get it.
Well, we've gotten a little more polarized over the last few years. I just was looking at a book about a fellow who was analyzing the economic impact since the tax freedom movement of a couple decades ago, leading up to polarization. So the polarization we see today is making it very difficult to get bills through Congress. Sometimes they're arguing about things that aren't actual inflation. And so we are experiencing more frequent. With you, I'm not sure we've really passed a budget. I think there was one time in the last couple of decades that we've actually passed a budget on time. So we had significant shutdowns in 95, 96, 2013, 2018 to 19. And that was an especially harsh one because we went from that shutdown, which was the longest in recorded time at the time. And then shortly after that, in the spring of 20, we got hit with a pandemic. And so certain government agencies really got hammered between the shutdown and then the subsequent pandemic. And we had these horrific.
If any of us regular U.S. citizens did half the fucking shit that the government does, we would be locked up for the rest of our lives. It's fucking crazy that they get away with fucking murder. They get away with everything. So corrupt. It's so corrupt. There's literally no fixing. There's no fixing it unless we just get rid of them. They gotta go. We need to do a recall election on all 50 states. All 50 states should have a recall election. All 50 states. They all need to fucking go. They're all criminal. So sick of this fucking criminal, satanic, pedophile cabal running our fucking country, running our everything. Running all of the taxpayer dollars, running everything. It's so fucking sick. Oh, man. It's so disturbing. I can't fucking stand it. Can't stand it. I wonder if I'm missing something, ain't I? Who's... When is this happening? Tomorrow. Oh, no, today's February 1st. All right, I'm gonna end this. I've had enough for one day. I'm so completely distraught. My brain is just like my fucking everything is just so distraught. I can't even think collectively on anything right now. It's so disturbing. So disturbing what is going on. And who's fucking doing anything to stop it? Nobody. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody is doing anything to stop any of this. Oh, man. I need to breathe and just... This is so fucking disturbing. All these people need to be removed from office. All 50 states. We need to do recall on every single election. All 50 states. We need to take our country back. It's ran by a bunch of satanic pedophiles. And it's fucking... I've just had enough. I've had enough of it. Had enough of it. I know I'm not alone. No, I'm not the only one. I feel sick. I feel sick to my fucking stomach, dude. Anyway. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube.